In a world of chaos, 4 heroes embarked on an expedition to destroy the Orb of Evil, the source of all wickedness. They overcame countless hardships and adversities, and finally succeeded in sealing the Orb of Evil. Those 4 heroes were the great Emperor Aurelian, the supreme sorceress Sabrina, the Sword King Theo, and the saintess Clara. The heroes restored peace to the continent. Even 30 years later, they are still revered. Suddenly, a maid spoke up. "My lady, why do you keep wandering around the library? You nearly died and were brought back to life, and now you've lost all your fear, huh? What if you faint again with that frail body of yours?" Another maid beside her added with a sigh. "You're right. What a nuisance, isn't she? Where did she even come from?" "Ah, there you are, Lady Yana." She approached Yana, grabbed her hand, and said, "You have to answer when you're called. Have you gone deaf?" She tugged her arm sharply, urging her on. "Let's go. Hurry back to your room. What if the dust from the books makes you sick? I'll be the one who gets scolded. So please, do me a favor and stay in your room." She continued to drag her by the hand back to the room, saying, "Honestly, why is my lady so interested in the story of that traitor?" In the story of the heroes from 30 years ago, there was another figure. Besides the 4 heroes, one who betrayed them, seeking to monopolize the orb's power for himself. In the end, he met a predictable fate and was despised by the entire world for years to come. But who would have known that the story of the heroes, known throughout the kingdom, was entirely the product of one person's imagination? Where should I begin to unravel this twisted tale? Right. I think I should start by sharing with you that there were actually 5 heroes. The scene before me was of a heroine, stabbed through the heart by someone. She was so wounded she coughed up blood. "I'm sorry, Lynn." A purple orb floated above her hand. Before her, a man with a blank expression said, "To save the world, we were forced to choose this inevitable end." The girl lay motionless on the ground, cursing internally. "What are you doing? Damn it, Theo. Did they use poison?" My voice. I can't speak. "Theo, why? Why betray us? Did you intend to take the Orb of Evil from the very beginning?" Suddenly, from behind them, a hand reached for the orb. The girl startled, realizing something. "Sabrina, run!" Sabrina stood there, silent. The orb was now in her hands. Yana, in her frail body, tried to whisper, "That traitor, Theo, he'll harm you." But she only heard Sabrina say, "Well done, Theo." Hearing that, Yana's mind snapped into focus. Sabrina spoke calmly, "I'm truly sorry to have burdened you with this task. I'll end everything here." The girl's eyes widened in shock, rendered speechless. Sabrina began to explain. "As you know, I've spent the last 10 years researching how to destroy the Orb of Evil. It was a heavy responsibility placed upon my shoulders, but the more I researched, the more troublesome it became. Because no matter what method I tried, the only conclusion I reached was that completely destroying the Orb of Evil is impossible." The girl whispered, "My head hurts." What the hell is happening?" Sabrina continued relentlessly. "But don't worry, even if I can't destroy this dreadful thing, I've found a way to coexist with it." And that's when she remembered. Hadn't Sabrina said not long ago that she'd found a way to destroy the Orb of Evil? "We will use a powerful soul like yours as a sacrifice to seal it." "Wait, but why me? Why?" she asked. "You wonder why? Well, because we have families waiting for us. You, on the other hand, are an orphan. Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone believes this was your choice, so they can honor your noble sacrifice for a long, long time." Theo stepped forward to comfort Sabrina. "What is she crying about? She's the one here to kill me. All I've ever done is try to help us escape this cursed orb." Seeing her cry, Theo consoled her. "Don't cry, Sabrina. Lynn is wise. She'll understand. And him. Why is he comforting her? What a bunch of hypocrites." She replied, "You're right, Theo. For Lynn's sake, I can't be weak and just sit here crying. That's right. That's the Sabrina I know." The girl let out a pained sound. "Ah," she thought. "So after 7 years of putting our lives on the line together, is this all I was to you people? If anyone here has to play the villain, it should be me." Sabrina raised her sword with a triumphant smile. "It's time to give up, Lynn. Die, for the future of the world." The girl named Lynn laughed. "Haha. You bastards. Look at them smile." In the dark void, a voice suddenly echoed. "Do you wish to live? Do you wish for revenge? Do you need power? I understand your desire." Then came an announcement. "A contract has been established." Back in the present, the maid called out, "My lady, Lady Yana, why are you just sitting there staring blankly? Hurry up and eat. If you don't want to eat, just tell me so I can clear the food away." Yana thought to herself, "Whether I eat fast or slow is none of your damn business. to her, but on the outside, Yana just whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Onga sighed in response. "If you're truly sorry, then could you please just listen to me for once?" The apology was repeated again, as she wondered why she couldn't say what she was really thinking. The maid continued, "My lady, because of that foolish nature of yours, I've been having a very difficult time lately. Did you think I wouldn't find out about all the things you've been doing to get the Lord's attention?" Suddenly, Yana threw up on the table, startling Onga. "Hey, what are you doing? Why would you waste food like that? Honestly, that's disgusting." Yana's expression darkened. Asterisk, so noisy. Asterisk, she thought. Asterisk, I should have just thrown up in her face. Asterisk, I am the forgotten hero. You were sacrificed in a sophisticated lie, Guide Lin. Yana let out a sharp breath, her stomach burning. "Why is my body like this? Onga, where's the newspaper I asked you to get? I didn't bring it. What does a young lady like you need that for anyway?" Yana looked annoyed. Asterisk, what kind of maid is she? She always has to add some nasty remark before getting to the point. Asterisk, the maid clicked her tongue in annoyance. Sk, what a pain. Just wait here, my lady. A moment later, a newspaper was tossed in front of her. Here. Yana picked up the newspaper and read. It was now the year 232 on the continental map. Exactly 30 years had passed since that incident. And now, I'm living in the body of a young girl. Even worse, this girl's body is incredibly weak. She was treated so poorly that even the servants of this household paid her no mind. It's so frustrating, both in my past life and now. Nothing in my life has ever gone the way it was supposed to. Those people, they've probably been living in wealth and luxury all this time, haven't they? The Grand Mage Sword King. They don't deserve such reverence. Did they think I would just stand by and watch? Those bastards. The beads of malice, a strange, dark object of unknown origin, famous for its ability to grant its owner a single wish. However, a terrible price came with that wish. Those who had their desires fulfilled would become a host for the beads, and they would transform into a living calamity, destroying everything in the world. Yet, despite this, humanity's ambition for the beads of malice never ceased. A brutal war erupted over the beads. An era of chaos ensued, turning countless innocent people into victims. My comrades and I sought to destroy the beads of malice, and we were chosen as the heroes destined to end that chaotic era. On that journey, we fought, reconciled, made mistakes, and ultimately grew stronger. For 7 long years, we endured countless battles to complete our mission. However, what awaited me at the end of the road was betrayal. I didn't realize it at the time. I was in such a state of shock, but the more I think about it, the more it feels like a cheap farce. For Lin's sake, I can't just stand here and cry like this. Lin wouldn't want that either. Yes, this is the Sabrina I know. Yana recalled that moment, helpless. Asterisk, you scum. I will never forgive you. Asterisk, the contract has been established. She pondered for a moment, unable to believe why a contract was formed on its own, and more so, why in this little girl's body. It feels like I've stolen this child's future. I feel so guilty. I don't know where the original owner of this body's soul has gone. Yana fell into thought again. Seeing this, Onga spoke up. Anyway, for now, could you please just be quiet, my lady? Got it? Because of your selfishness, we've all been on edge. Hearing that, Yana thought, asterisk, selfish, asterisk, asterisk. Now that she mentions it, I remember her saying something earlier. What did I do? Asterisk, are you pretending you don't know? A few days ago, in the second young master's greenhouse, you stole the heavenly nectar fruit. Yana asked in shock. I stole the heavenly nectar fruit? The heavenly nectar fruit is an extremely poisonous fruit with a very high mortality rate. Why would a weak girl like her eat something like that? Is she saying, the girl ate it herself? Onga continued angrily. When you were lying there unconscious, do you have any idea how hard it was for me to take care of you? But now that you've somehow survived, you'd better eat properly. Yana listened, silently fuming. Asterisk, in my past life, I never had a servant. Asterisk, but you keep throwing up because you don't eat right. Do you ever stop to think that I'm the one who has to clean up after you? I'm always the one who has to make sure you eat your dinner on time. Listening to the long tirade, Yana gritted her teeth and cursed internally. Asterisk, does a maid have the right to speak like this? What am I even supposed to say? Asterisk, I'm sorry. Asterisk, damn it. I said it again out of reflex. Asterisk, this child always had to apologize to others, even when she did nothing wrong. Was she always treated like this? Even though our souls have swapped, the emotional trauma remains. Could it be that this trauma is so ingrained in this child's mind that it will continue to affect me, forcing a child who did nothing wrong to apologize, ultimately leading to her eating a poisonous fruit herself? This is unacceptable. I need to say the right thing. Anga sighed wearily. Stop sitting there apologizing and just quietly listen to me. Yana kept her head down, repeating, yes, I'm sorry. But inside, she was screaming, asterisk, that's not it. That's not what I want to say. Asterisk. Anga placed her hands on her hips and said in a loud voice, the second young miss will be here soon. The least you can do is get up, wash your face, and fix that miserable look of yours. That gloomy look off your face. Yana struggled to speak. I'll be quiet. I'm sorry. No, Yana thought. I have to speak my mind. Anga was a bit surprised to see her like this, then continued. As the young lady's maid, I'm the only one who has it rough. Who in this entire castle is more worn out than me? Yana struggled to say. Shut your mouth. Anga asked in surprise. What did you just say? Yana's face darkened as she said, I've had enough of you. What are you looking at? Look down. Hearing this, Anga scowled, clearly annoyed. After speaking, Yana let out a weary sigh of relief. I finally said it. Thank God. At least I was able to say something. What did the young lady just say? But the road ahead was still long. And a void appeared. Before her eyes, Lin was floating on the water's surface. She opened her eyes and looked around. Is this a dream? That child. That's definitely Yana, isn't it? That's right. The illegitimate child of the deceased eldest son. What is that sound? They say she's a nuisance to the whole family. Even though her parents are dead, it seems they still treat her like a lady. So what? Her birth mother was a commoner. She shouldn't even dream of becoming the family's heir. She should be grateful that the second and third sons raised her and took care of her until she grew up. A half-baked niece. I can't believe those two gentlemen are so kind. It would be better if she just disappeared and didn't tarnish this family's name. Lin just stood there, her gaze fixed on that spot. A light flashed again. And this time, she was awake. She immediately shot up, turning to look toward the window. I was unconscious for longer than I thought. I thought it was just a dream. But the dream was so vivid, as if I had experienced, heard, and seen it all myself. This must be Yana's memory. An orphan, an illegitimate child, a mother of low status, the shame of being the family's disgrace. This child had no choice but to live her life constantly mindful of what everyone around her was saying. After pondering this, Yana clenched her fists. Still, it's a good start. I passed out from trying to do something I'm not used to, but I still succeeded, didn't I? If I keep this up, little by little, I'll be able to overcome this trauma. By the way, from what I've heard, this family seems to be from a rather impressive lineage, and this place is quite grand. As she was lost in thought, Anga suddenly slammed the door open and shouted, Young lady, how long do you plan on sleeping? Yana wearily sat up. What is it? There's no time to explain. Get up now. Suddenly, Anga grabbed her face and started applying makeup with a brush, then said, the second lady is on her way here. So, what does that have to do with me? You should at least look a little healthy. If you show up looking like a corpse, I'll be the one who gets blamed. Is she crazy? I'm sorry. Those 3 words slipped out. Yana squeezed her eyes shut in frustration and quickly pushed Anga away. Seeing her pull away, Anga demanded, What do you think you're doing? I told you, this isn't the time, young lady. Yana stood at the table, clutching a vase. She thought, the second lady is coming. This is a great opportunity. I don't have time for pointless arguments like this. If talking nicely is so difficult, have you lost your mind? Young lady, sit down. I have no other choice. I'll have to show her with my actions. Oh my. Just then, Karen appeared at the door with a surprised expression. What's this? She then entered the room. Taking in the scene before her, Karen quickly asked, What? What in the world is going on in here? Seeing this, Anga panicked, letting go of Yana and explaining, It's nothing, my lady. Young lady Yana is just overreacting again. Yana remained silent. Her lips trembled as if to speak. Then she bowed her head and said, Anga, I'm sorry. Yana clasped her hands to her chest, her eyes welling with tears. Every time you get angry and scold me, I really don't understand. I'm so sorry. Anga, horrified, cried out, Young lady. Yana brought a hand to her mouth and continued, I really don't want to wear makeup. I'm sorry for not listening to you. Karen cried out in alarm. Oh my goodness, dear Lord, Yana. Yana, looking pale, thought, I've tried to gag so many times. My throat is burning. In this weak body, all this retching is exhausting me. I need some water right now. Seeing Yana's state, Karen asked with concern, Yana, are you all right? Anga, that maid, what was she forcing you to do? Yana remained silent. After a moment, she lowered her head and spoke. I'm sorry for overreacting. This is my fault. She said the second madam was coming, so I shouldn't show that I'm in pain. And she also tried to force me to wear makeup, but I refused because I didn't want to. I think I just made her worry. Hearing this, Anga quickly tried to defend herself. No, that's a misunderstanding. She bowed her head and added in a small voice, I just didn't want the madam to be upset. At that moment, Yana suddenly saw Karen stand up. Her voice was sharp. That's enough. Her eyes, filled with anger, stared forward as she continued. Your words. Are you certain you're telling the absolute truth? Yana just looked at her without answering, calculating in her mind. Now, many things will be brought to light, she thought. No matter how low this girl's status is in this house, a maid has no right to treat a noble child like that. So, what would be a fitting punishment for this maid? Especially since Kyonga is the second madam's right-hand woman. Even though Yana is an illegitimate child, she is still the daughter of the deceased eldest son. It's possible the second madam herself sent that woman here to watch me. I can't help but be suspicious. Seeing that she remained silent, Karen spoke softly. Now, I want you to answer me honestly. I am on your side. Yana pressed her lips together, thinking to herself, how ridiculous. No matter how hard you try to act kind, no one knows what you're really thinking deep down. She remembered the past. It was just like that time. They had said with a smile, I have to do this, Lin, so please, die for the future of the world. Remembering that moment terrified Yana, and the room was now filled with the sound of her retching. Yes, that's right. She looked up with a frightened face as she answered Karen's question. Hearing that, the woman immediately stood up. I see, the maid pleaded in fear. Madam, please, you have to believe me. Before she could continue, a sharp slap from Karen struck her across the face. The woman shouted, get out. Instantly, a red mark appeared on the maid's face. She called out, aggrieved, Madam. She asked why. Karen said, that child is incredibly fragile. Instead of taking care of her, you pull these kinds of tricks? And now you're making excuses? The maid refused to accept it. But madam, the young miss was only trying to win the master's favor. Karen cut her off. I said, I don't want to hear that nonsense. You're fired. I don't need someone like you in this castle. The maid clasped her hands, begging. No, I'm sorry. Please don't fire me. With a placid expression, Yana watched the two of them. So noisy. How dare you defy me? Get out of here, you insolent thing. But Yana just sat and watched the show without saying a word. Karen sat down gently beside her and comforted her. It's all right now. You must have had a difficult time. I'm sorry for not being able to look after you properly until now. She asked, why are you only telling me this now? I told you to tell me if anything happened. Yana's eyes were quiet as she thought. Someone in the castle had taken her side. She never imagined there would be someone like this. I'm truly touched. The woman hugged her tightly and continued, I will replace your maid immediately. Don't worry anymore. This shameful incident will never happen again in Castle Tusl. Yana's ears perked up at what she just heard. She turned back and asked, what did you just say? The woman didn't understand, simply letting out a, huh? She smiled and said, I said I won't let this happen again. Here, in Castle Tusl. Yana was stunned. This is Castle Tusl. Tusl, one of the 4 great families of the empire. Among them was a very important figure. The saintess. Clara's family. At this thought, Yana's eyes filled with rage. She thought about how the La Empire had 4 great families. The Golden Family Nega, the Family of Wisdom Ro, the Family of Honor Burger, and the Family of God's Protection, Tusl. Except for the Nega family, the other 3 families all produced heroes for the crusade against the evil Jewel. Sabrina of House Ro, Theo of House Burger, and from House Tusl, the saintess Clara. Back then, she had run over, calling out, Clara! She had turned back to look at her with a smile. Lin. She who held the noble title of saintess, my intelligent, gentle, and thoughtful companion. But she was one of the heroes who betrayed me. As the memory faded, Yana quickly covered her mouth. Seeing this, Karen asked, Yana, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Yana just smirked and said, no, actually, I feel much better now. She thought, if this is the Tusl family in the La Empire, where theocracy reigns supreme, the Tusl family holds immense power, even bearing the title of God's apostles. Besides, since they produced a hero, it'll be easier for me to gather information on those bastards. I will gather my strength and get my revenge. Starting with Clara and Aurelian, one step at a time. Yana's eyes burned with hatred. Sabrina and Theo, they will be first. Karen, overjoyed, hugged Yana. I'm so glad. Annoyed, Yana called out, Madam? She replied, I was so worried you were going to faint again. Next time, if anything happens, you must tell me. My husband and I will always be by your side. So if you're suffering, you can trust us. Do you understand? Yana replied softly, Yes, madam. Now then, let's get you up. She held out her hand to the girl and said, I want you to come somewhere with me. Yana was puzzled. What? Where? Karen said, Your second uncle asked me to bring you. Yana remained silent, deep in thought. If he's the second heir, then he's one of the uncles who raised Yana. But why would he be looking for me? Karen's gaze softened as she gently explained. I suppose it's because you fainted after trying the Heaven's Bell fruit. He just wants to check if you're all right. It might be a little difficult for you. But please, come with me. Yana stood up, still thinking. A little girl just collapsed from eating a poisonous fruit, and he wants to see her now? Something is very suspicious. But she looked up at Karen and made her decision. Yana smiled brightly and replied, Yes, I'll go. Let's go see my uncle. She calculated. To perfect my revenge plan, I have to use this name, Tusl. If that's the case, I must solidify my position within the family, and I need to understand. The door to the room swung open. Light shone directly on Yana's bored face. Just what kind of person was the future heir of Tusl? Karen led her inside and called out to Roman. He immediately turned around. He said softly, Ah, so you've arrived? This man was Roman Tusl, the second son of the Tleran family. Yana greeted him with a blank expression. Hello, uncle. But inside, she thought, so he's the second heir. She cast a bored glance away. Seeing that the room was an art gallery, she thought, he likes to paint? He must have no natural talent. Roman then began to speak at a leisurely pace. It's a pleasure to meet you, Yana. I'm sorry for calling you here when you weren't feeling well. I heard you just fainted and are in recovery. How are you feeling? Yana replied, Yes, I'm fine. He continued, I think you know that we worry about you a great deal. The reason you can wear nice clothes and live in such luxury is all thanks to our hard work. No one cares about you as much as we do. Yana listened in silence. Her lips parted as if she wanted to say something, but she remained quiet, frowning as she thought. And so, the psychological manipulation begins, bragging about what they've done for a petty, foolish child. After he finished speaking, she bowed and expressed, Of course, I am always grateful to you, uncle. Seeing this, Roman smiled and continued, I'm glad you're such an understanding child. So, on this matter, I want you to answer truthfully. Yana, he asked in a low voice, did your third uncle tell you to go into the greenhouse and eat the Thienli Long fruit? Yana asked in surprise. What? She thought. Why is he suddenly bringing up my third uncle? Yana lowered her head to hide her confused expression, thinking, what's the reason for this? Yana entered the greenhouse, ate the Thienli Long fruit, and collapsed. And now my second uncle is asking if my third uncle told me to do it? The Thienli Lang fruit, the greenhouse, my third uncle? So this was your scheme all along? Roman questioned her again with a serious face. Yana, I hope you will tell the truth. Did your third uncle tell you to go into the greenhouse and eat the Thienli Long fruit? Yana still feigned ignorance and asked again. Pardon? Roman said. Not just anyone can enter the greenhouse. A well-educated child like you would never make such a mistake. Therefore, someone must have threatened you. I'll ask you one more time. Did your third uncle tell you to do it? Yana remained silent. He seemed to have achieved his goal and chuckled to himself. Hurry up and say yes, you little bitch. Roman thought to himself. The Tusl family's greenhouse is also known as the Greenhouse of Deadly Venom. It houses a collection of rare poisonous plants that are not easily found in the world. This greenhouse is nothing less than the treasure of the Tusl clan. Roman tapped his fingers on his thigh smugly. I've tried so hard to deal with him, but I never expected that shameless bastard Gregory to not know his place. He always had his eye on my greenhouse, and this Thienli Lung fruit incident is surely his ploy to steal the greenhouse from me, using a mistake as a pretext. But this time, I won't let you get what you want. Just like when I was a member of the Bright Holy Knight Order, I will play this game with you. So hurry up and say the third son told you to do it, you little brat. He smiled with a very ugly expression on his face. Yana looked up at Roman. She moved her lips slightly and then uttered a single word. No. That one word was enough to make Roman freeze. Yana calmly replied, My third uncle never forced me to do such a thing. He pressed his lips together in annoyance. He glared at her, cursing inwardly. Stupid girl, with such an obvious lie. Do you think I'll let you off the hook so easily? Yana thought to herself. I realized from the very beginning that his persistent questioning meant the second and third sons are feuding with each other. Roman wants to blame my third uncle for instigating me to eat the Thien Li Lang fruit. There is no evidence more powerful than the words of the victim who escaped the Grim Reaper's scythe after eating poison. However, what if Yana listened to someone else and ate that poisonous fruit? And what if that has something to do with why I woke up in Yana's body? Of course, this is just my speculation for now. But Yana made her decision. To get closer to the truth, I first have to deny my second uncle's story and wait for the real mastermind to approach me again. Roman suddenly bowed his head, rubbing his forehead with his hand and said, "A moment ago, did you just say your third uncle didn't tell you to do it?" She replied, "Yes, that's right." His face darkened as he continued. "Then why did you secretly enter the greenhouse? And why did you eat the Thien Li Long fruit?" Yana acted flustered. I curious. I read in a book that it had an amazing flavor, so I ate it out of curiosity." Yana's eyes widened, as if she sensed something. Roman stood up and walked towards her. His hand clenched into a fist as he yelled, "What? Curiosity? You swallowed poison for such a pathetic reason? And you think I'm going to believe you?" Seeing him fly into a rage and scold Yana, Karen quickly stepped forward to intervene. "Calm down, Roman." He didn't even listen and continued fuming. "How can I calm down? I lost my greenhouse because of that little fool." Hearing his words, Yana finally understood the situation. So that's it. Instead of just a petty family squabble, it seems there's something they truly covet. Yana stroked her chin thoughtfully. "So, they're arguing about the greenhouse, right?" Seeing Yana remain silent, Roman continued, "This is no small matter. You ate the poisonous fruit." He angrily pointed a finger in her face and yelled, "Who told you to do that? It was that bastard, wasn't it? Tell me." Yana smiled nonchalantly at his rage. She said, "Uncle, is that really so important?" Yana asked him lightly, then smiled brightly. This only made Roman even angrier as he gritted his teeth. "What?" she said. "Isn't the important thing right now that I've recovered after eating the poisonous fruit?" Yana asked innocently. "Don't tell me that you being the owner of the greenhouse is more important than your own niece's health." He fell silent at her sarcastic words. Then, Roman suddenly froze and turned aside. Karen saw this and quickly called out to him. He stood before a purple bucket, picked it up, and with one hand, flung it straight at Yana. She watched in astonishment as it flew towards her. Drops of paint splattered out, the bucket was thrown to the ground, and the ink stains covered her completely. "Yana!" Her pupils contracted. Karen asked in alarm, "Roman, what is all this?" He shouted, "You ungrateful brat! It seems you've forgotten who brought you here and raised you, for you to become so arrogant." Yana looked at him with disgust in her eyes, and finally, Roman pointed straight at her and said, "Go to the Pindi Dias convent." Covered in ink, Yana thought. He wants to send me to the Pindi Dias convent? Where is that? Karen rushed over to intervene. "Roman, you've gone too far." But Roman just blamed everything on her. "No, this stupid, ungrateful brat needs to learn her place." Karen retorted to her husband, "Roman, don't say such thoughtless things. Yana isn't that kind of child." Yana couldn't be bothered with the argument right next to her. She clutched a lock of her hair, deep in thought. Pindi Dias, that name sounds very familiar. Suddenly, a flicker of light flashed in her mind. "Ah, I remember. The Pindi Dias convent, a sacred place for nurturing saints. So, is it possible that Yana is a saintess candidate?" Her eyes grew sorrowful as she accepted her fate. In any case, one thing was clear. Sending Yana to the convent was an effective threat. Karen still wanted to keep her here, continuously trying to appeal to her husband's trust. "Roman, perhaps Yana has reflected enough on her actions." She asked her gently, "Isn't that right, Yana?" Yana began to feel the body's original owner start to act like a pre-programmed machine. Yes, I'm sorry." In her heart, she couldn't understand. What is happening? Why am I apologizing again? Is it because she's sick? Inside, the girl continuously tried to awaken the original owner. "No, Yana, don't apologize. The one who brought you here scolded you and even threw ink on you. If you hate being treated like this, why are you apologizing? This is unacceptable." The voice inside her continuously tried to wake her up. "No, Yana, don't apologize. The one who brought you here scolded you and even threw ink on you. I don't feel like apologizing." Roman and Karen were both stunned. Her hands clenched into fists as she glared angrily at the hypocritical couple. "I don't feel sorry at all. If you want to send me away, then just do it." This wounded his pride. What the hell? Do you even know who you're standing in front of? How dare you talk back to me like that? Yana was immediately slapped so hard she stumbled and fell. Karen cried out in alarm. Yana! She dazedly wondered, am I going to faint again? Back in her room, Yana said, I'm sorry. Karen was by her side, worried. Your health is already fragile, and you've had to face so many hardships. Her face filled with concern, she gripped Yana's hand and said softly, I will try to convince your uncle about sending you to the convent. I know you hate that place, so don't worry. Lying weakly in bed, Yana replied, Thank you, madam. Before leaving the room, she turned back and said, For now, just get some rest. Sweet dreams. Finally, Yana was alone in the room. Her eyes stared blankly at the ceiling, lost in thought. She raised the hand Karen had just held, then placed it on her forehead. The warmth from the lady's hand was still there, still warm. But then she clasped her hands together, steeling herself. I can't rely on this momentary warmth. I never know when it will disappear, and if she was truly worried about Yana, she wouldn't have let her niece end up in this situation. Even if the lady's feelings are genuine, my situation won't improve. The one with real power in this family is Roman. Even as his wife, she can't stand up to him. She felt as if she were bound by chains. In the end, no one in this family would truly be on her side. Yana collapsed onto the bed, exhausted. Suddenly, a voice called out from inside her head, Yana. Inside a dreamscape, Lin appeared and asked her, What do you truly want? I made a pact with the cursed jewel, and then my soul entered your body. I'm using this chance to get my revenge. But as for you, you've disappeared. Tears of sorrow streamed down Yana's face. Lin asked again, Yana, tell me, what do you truly want? Yana's soul slowly faded within the dreamscape. Just like that. Is my existence going to disappear just like this? Here. Lin groggily opened her eyes, which glistened as she took everything in. Right here, this strange feeling, and my previously clear mind. It was just like this. This was Lin, slowly walking toward a little girl. It was Yana's appearance, and this was the Pindia's monastery. Whispering? Will this question be on the exam? Yeah, it is every year. But I'm still so confused. The story of the heroes who sealed the cursed orb. I've memorized it all. The children at the monastery were telling each other the story from the book. The great Emperor Aurelian, the mage Sabrina, the sword king Theo, and the saintess Clara. 4 heroes who brought peace to the world. Suddenly, a short-haired girl walked over and asked, But wasn't there one more person? The other girl frowned and shot back. What are you talking about? There were only those 4, the orange-haired girl asked. Don't tell me you're talking about the guide, Lin? She's a traitor. Yana suddenly flinched slightly. Lin was speechless, hearing such malicious words directed at her. She betrayed the heroes to hoard the cursed orb for herself. The false hero was punished by the mage Sabrina and the sword king Theo. Lin was confused. What? Yana suddenly spoke up. No, that's not right. The 3 girls turned toward the dissenting voice. Lin, too, was startled to see the girl step forward to object on her behalf. What's wrong? It's Yana. Yana overcame her fear and anxiety, stepping forward to say, Lin is not a traitor. Yana tried to shout. She was used to seal the cursed orb. Lin's eyes widened in shock as she stared at Yana. Lin muttered in disbelief. How could Yana know about that? After I woke up in Yana's body, the first thing I wanted to find out was what happened on that day. Yana slowly walked towards the library. I desperately wanted to know what happened after my death and the fate of those so-called heroes. But regarding the heroes who began their great journey 30 years ago, even though I searched through countless records detailing their story, she bowed her head, staring at the text in the book in disbelief. But in all the texts, I couldn't find a single truth about the guide, Lin. But this kid, The children turned and started laughing at her. Hey, is this little brat meddling in our conversation? Seriously, what a joke. They pointed and laughed, spewing harsh words. A fake goddess candidate, a parentless orphan kicked out of her own house. You have no divine power, and you're just freeloading off the temple's resources, yet you dare to argue with us? She criticized Yana even more harshly. If you have no talent, you should know your place. Exactly. Are you too stupid to realize that? Behind her was another young lady. She frowned, trying to persuade the other girl to stop her criticism. Just leave her be. She doesn't have any divine power either, so she probably just sympathizes with someone just like her. Another young lady chimed in, just as snooty as the rest. But what's the point? No matter what happens, it's not like your life or the life of that traitor Lin is going to change, is it? Yana's eyes welled up with tears again. They finally left after criticizing her so cruelly. How ridiculous. I guess fakes of a feather really do flock together. But she remained firm in her belief. No, they're wrong. Lin was never a traitor. She clutched the hem of her dress in anger. Lin is a hero. A true hero. The one who tried to suppress the Orb of Evil. Hot tears streamed down her face, falling to the ground. Until the very last moment, Lin pensively watched the girl before her, closing her eyes to feel it all. Finally back in Yana's body, she slipped off the bed and slowly walked to the other side of the room. Before her was her face in the mirror. In the Tuslna estate and even in the Pindia's temple, there was no place for Yana. She was lost and alone all those long, dreary days. And the critical, frightening whispers only grew louder. The illegitimate child of the deceased eldest son. They said she was a disgrace to the family. A parentless orphan kicked out of her home. A girl with not a shred of divine power, who only consumes the temple's provisions. Fakes always get along so well. Yana knelt down and let out a small, mocking laugh. So this is why I possessed this body. Now I understand. Yana, who was always abandoned and misunderstood, so pitiful and so pure. Lin clenched her fists in anger. Yana did nothing wrong. She was despised for being an orphan and ridiculed at the temple she was forced to go to. She hated all of it. All of this was because of that cursed family. Yana gritted her teeth, a fire of rebellion igniting within her. Do they think I'll just stand by and endure this? I will destroy those scoundrels at Tuslna, protect Yana's position, and seize control of this family. Yana looked up, her gaze filled with unwavering determination. When Yana's soul returns, I will give her the life she deserves. Lin wanted to give the girl all the good things in the world. I want to repay you. Lin is not a traitor. She is the only one. Model. Fought while isolated, and was the only one who believed in me. Standing before the mirror, she stared intently at her own reflection, questioning the body's previous owner. Yana, I don't know what you truly wanted, or how you found out the truth. Lin gently touched her hand to the mirror. Her heart still ached for the young girl. I know nothing about you, but she smiled softly, looking ahead. Just as you protected me, I will stay by your side. Until the day you return, I will be your guide. Late at night, Leon and Jiha were in the study discussing official matters. The older man sighed softly at their current leads. It seems we've hit another dead end. Jiha stated the facts plainly. You knew from the very beginning this wouldn't be easy, my lord. That's true, he said, looking at the teacup that was now 2/3 empty. But the more I search, the more distant it feels, as if it's slipping right through my fingers. Behind this veil of secrecy, this man was Leon Htna, the ruler of the Duchy of Tusl. Leon stood up, murmuring, It's time for me to put things in order and return to the castle. I have been away from home for too long. Jiha replied respectfully. Then I shall prepare the carriage for your return, my lord. The man nodded in agreement. Good, but aren't you coming with me? It's been a while since you visited the castle. You should show your face to the brothers every once in a while. Leon glanced at the young man's indifferent expression as he asked, So, will you? Jiha sighed and replied with a faint smile. And which of my dear brothers would want to see my face? They'll just treat me like an uninvited guest anyway. Suddenly, a glint appeared in his eyes, as a small figure materialized in his mind. Jiha then changed his tune. Actually, I will accompany you, my lord. Leon let out a sound of surprise, asking suspiciously, How strange. I didn't expect that. Is someone waiting for you? He didn't know how to explain. It's not like that. I'm just curious about someone. After deciding to help Yana grow stronger, the first thing I focused on was building a healthy body. In the past, Lin had also been harshly criticized by her master. Is it that hard to keep up with training? Then, work on your stamina first. He would even shout harsh words at her. A weak body harbors a weak mind. Now, she finally understood his good intentions. That's what Master always said, and he was right. Yana continued to train to her absolute limit. If I'm this weak, I won't be able to accomplish anything. It will just make me a target for others to look down on. But this body was still too weak to avoid harsh impacts. Yana's feet tangled, and she fell flat on the ground. This pathetic body, as fragile as a dandelion. I swear I will change it. She scrambled back to her feet, muttering her plans. First, I'll build up stamina by running. Then, I'll practice swordsmanship on the training grounds. Consistency is the key to progress. Just then, a noise echoed from behind her. Look at that. Yana hurried over to eavesdrop. What is it? They can't possibly be talking about me. A group of maids was laughing and gossiping. I thought I smelled something foul. Isn't that Olga, the stable hand? Seeing her approach, they became even more malicious. Oh, not yet? But she'll be demoted to that job soon enough. So, what's the difference? That's the price you pay for picking a fight with the young lady you were supposed to be serving. Olga gritted her teeth as their tyrannical words grew harsher. How shameless. Finally, Olga snapped and fought back. What gives you the right to talk to me like that? Are you any different from me? You bullied her too. A sharp slap sent Olga stumbling to the ground. Dirty water splashed all over her. The purple-haired maid barked arrogantly. So what? The only reason you're even here is because you begged the second madam so desperately. So don't you dare drag us down with you. Just shut up and stop causing trouble. Understand? After getting their fill of criticism, they left Olga behind in her misery. Ugh, how annoying. Look, she got mud on my shoes. Getting involved with her is just bad luck. Just leave her. Olga remained frozen on the ground, silent. Her arm trembled as she clenched it in defiance, wiping away resentful tears. Yana stood firmly before the maid, her arms crossed. Olga's eyes welled with tears, her words catching in her throat. Lady Yana? She gave a slight nod in greeting. Hello, Olga. It's been a while, hasn't it? She glanced at the tools beside her, recognizing them. I heard you were demoted to a lowly servant, doing odd jobs instead of being kicked out. How is it? I still remember that look you gave me. You hated serving me, didn't you? I hope you'll find peace where you belong now. Olga's eyes reddened with anger. Lady Yana, She suddenly shot up, filled with rage. This is too much. Do you have any idea how hard this has been for me? Olga sobbed, consumed by guilt. Yes, I was wrong. But this was between the two of us. What they're doing is going too far. Her anger grew as she poured out the suffering she'd endured. I don't deserve to be treated like garbage by everyone, do I? Yana sighed, not knowing what to make of her. What a strange girl. She was cast out, yet she still speaks so defiantly. But Yana found this display absolutely fascinating. But it also meant she was quite honest, not someone who hides her true feelings behind a mask. Yana thought to herself, I'm going to need more people on my side. But I can't just pick anyone. If that's the case, then perhaps she is the right one. Yana decided to take her back, holding out a brand new handkerchief towards her and saying, All right, I understand. Here, take this and wipe away your tears. Huh? She was suspicious. Why was she suddenly being so kind? Even if you're nice to me, I won't. Yana felt awkward and wanted to pull her hand back. The girl quickly explained in a panic. No. I mean, in my current position, who can I possibly trust? Of course, I'm suspicious of everyone. Besides, right now, I'm just a useless person. I'll be the one to judge whether you're useless or not. Yana smiled. I'm the one who decides. The next day, Yana gathered all the maids and the butler in one place. All right, is everyone here? I have a task for all of you. Yesterday, while on a walk, I lost my ring. I think it might be near the horse stables. Yana laid out her request. There are quite a few of you here, so it shouldn't take too long. She gave her command to those below. I want all of you to find it for me by the end of the day. That is all. The maids were furious. Why this sudden job out of nowhere? She's the one who lost it, but she wants us times to find it? None of them wanted to do this chore. Did she eat something toxic that rotted her brain? After hearing the order, they all scattered to the side. Huh? Who cares? We'll just say we tried our best but couldn't find it. Why waste our energy? We just have to pretend to look, and that'll be enough. Ona clenched her fists, deep in thought. As soon as she left, Yana followed behind her. It seemed she had already achieved her own goal. That afternoon, after everyone had been ordered to find the lost ring, Yana called them all to assemble again. Is everyone present? Have you found the ring? A blue-haired maid glanced at her with a look of contempt. She started to put on a fake act. My lady, we searched very thoroughly, but we couldn't find it. Really? Did you search every nook and cranny? She continued her charade. Yes, everyone tried very hard. Is it possible that you are mistaken, my lady? Suddenly, the maid looked up with suspicion. Or perhaps, you never lost anything in the first place? Yana narrowed her eyes, unafraid of the threat. So, in the end, no one found it? Ona, standing there covered in mud, was thinking about something. Suddenly, she raised her hand, asking for permission to speak. My lady, she said shyly from within the crowd. I've found the ring. What? You found the ring? You're lying, aren't you? Ona bowed her head and held out a silver ring. My lady, is this the one? Yana held it up to the sun. The diamond sparkled brilliantly in the light. Yes, this is the ring I lost. Where did you find it? Ona bowed low and said, I heard you lost the ring near the horse stables, my lady. I searched all along the path and the courtyard, but it wasn't there. So, I started searching inside the stables. I searched everywhere. Yana exclaimed in amazement. Everywhere? That couldn't have been easy. Yana then turned to provoke the deceitful maid. Oh, and you said you worked so hard, didn't you? Then surely someone must have gone into the stables with you? Who did you search with? Ona bowed her head, momentarily at a loss for words. About that. Her gaze hardened as she bluntly stated the truth. No one went with me. I searched for the ring in the stables by myself. Yana immediately turned to interrogate the other maid. Is that right? The maid's face darkened upon being called out. My lady, I truly had no idea the ring was inside the stables. Her face twisted in displeasure. So, you all lied to me? Yana had become a completely different person, confronting the malicious maids. You all thought I would just pretend not to notice like before, and you even dared to lie so blatantly. Are you looking down on me with contempt? They immediately started whining, making excuses and apologizing. My lady, it's not like that. But Yana cut them off. Enough. I don't want to hear any more of your pathetic excuses. She used this as her justification. All of you are fired. Yana crossed her arms sternly. And not only that, I will be reviewing your contracts. I'll make sure you're forced into early retirement and can't find work anywhere else. The head maid shrieked in protest. What? Review our contracts. And what do you mean by early retirement? You don't have the authority to decide that. But the Yana of today was different. She even taunted them, using her power as a threat. Then I'll just ask the second madam. The second madam said she would do anything I want. And you all know that, don't you? How dare you be so insolent to a lady of the Tusl castle? Those selected by the Tusl family had signed contracts with special clauses before they began their work. In the La Empire, a theocratic state, working at Tusl was a matter of state secret. For that reason, everything heard and seen within the castle walls was never to be revealed to the outside world. So, while the salary might be attractive, the punishment for causing trouble was a disgraceful dismissal. Yana frowned at the ignorant group. If it stopped there, perhaps people would think it wasn't anything special. But they didn't just face dismissal. They had to endure a ruthless form of discipline, having their tongues and hands cut off before being cast out. Yana reprimanded them sternly. You have disdained and ignored my orders far too many times. Before, it didn't matter. But things are different now. I will punish you all for the crime of insolence. She frowned. So, is everyone ready? A butler immediately prostrated himself, screaming, My lady, I truly didn't mean to, but I have unintentionally made a grave mistake. Please, my lady, forgive me this one time. Everyone dropped to their knees in repentance. Me too, my lady, I deserve to die. Yana looked at the crowd and sighed with disdain. So, times you finally decide to admit it. Everyone was desperately trying to get a second chance. Yana glanced at Onga standing beside her. Onga, I will give you a reward. She whispered in her ear, You can do whatever you want with them. Onga was momentarily shocked. My lady, what are you saying? You are the only one who has shown me true diligence in your work, punishing those who did wrong and rewarding the one who did well. It's only fair, isn't it? She was even more terrified. I will make your wish come true. Onga couldn't believe her ears. Really? With that, she bowed her head, lost in thought. She leaned down and whispered what was in her heart. All the maids and butlers are to be forgiven. Phew, they let out a sigh of relief, thinking they were about to be fired for sure. Onga and Yana stood in a corner, watching them from a distance. Why did you choose to wish for that? The moment your condition worsened, they all started bullying you. Yana gently asked why she had told her not to fire them. Onga's face turned slightly red as she fiddled with her hair in embarrassment. Well, I also treated you poorly in the past, my lady, but you still gave me a chance, so I wanted to do the same. Onga bowed her head respectfully. Thank you, Lady Yana, I am truly sorry. Onga's face flushed even redder under the setting sun. Yana looked up at the maid in complete surprise. She gave a small, knowing smile. Onga, starting tomorrow, return to being my personal maid. Really? She nodded in acknowledgement. Yes. From now on, I will serve you with all my heart, my lady. Yana had also taken a new step forward. Now, she is on my side. To others, this might mean nothing, but for me, I am moving toward my goal of revenge, one step at a time. The next day, at the martial arts academy next to the Tusl estate, the young men of the academy began to take notice of Yana. There she goes again today. Yeah, they cheered as they looked over. Lady Yana is out for her run again. They quickly recognized her and began to whisper amongst themselves. She comes here to run every afternoon, but it looks like she's having a tough time. The young men continued, smiling from ear to ear. Well, at least she's better than when she started. Their first impression was that she looked like such a delicate flower, wasn't it? I can't believe a lady like her would come out to jog. It's quite unusual. After finishing her training, Yana collapsed onto her bed, completely exhausted. I'm so tired. Onga appeared before her and started to nag. My lady, you should go wash up and change your clothes first. Yana tiredly raised a hand to plead for a moment. Just let me rest a bit. Yana lay sprawled on the bed, deep in thought. Even though I'm stronger than before, my whole body still aches. She started to notice the new items on her desk. Onga, what's behind this flower basket? It's medicine. The fourth young master sent it for you. Yana fiddled with the bouquet, thinking about the person Onga had just mentioned. If it's the fourth young master, he's the youngest. And no one in this estate has seen his face yet, right? Rumor has it, the head of the family is especially fond of him. Onga couldn't stop praising him. The fourth young master is so kind, sending such expensive medicine for you, my lady. But Yana couldn't care less. Throw this away, Onga shrieked. I don't understand why. My lady, you're going to throw away something this precious? The memory of old Roman made her withdraw, suspicious of everyone. So what if it's precious? Kindness is never that simple. I won't trust anyone in this house. Besides, how is that task I asked you to do coming along? Onga regained her confidence. It's done. I've collected all the rumors within the estate. Good, tell me. She began to recount everything. First, it seems they have plans to expand the estate's food storage warehouse. They'll be able to store more high-quality ingredients from the farmlands. And I heard that the royal painter Stuart has decided to visit the second Madam's museum. If things go well, it looks like a high-quality exhibition will be held. Yana scratched her head awkwardly. That's good news. And one more thing. They have set the date for you to go to the Pindi Dayas monastery. Yana was shocked and horrified. What? She slammed her fist on the table in a rage. Why are you only telling me this now? When exactly is it? Onga jumped, startled. Well, in 2 days. Yana's expression hardened. She strode quickly down the hall, cursing under her breath. That old geezer Roman, he told me I could decide for myself, but now he pulls this. This is no time for me to be wasting away in a monastery. The guards were stunned to see her appear. Lady Yana, do you need something from the main building? Her eyes glittered as she replied. I'm here to see the second madam. Inform her that Yana Tusl has a proposition. The guard was cornered, flustered by the difficult situation. I apologize for this, but the second lady is currently out. Please come back tomorrow. Yana was stunned, unable to believe it. What? Then what about the second master? The guard pressed his lips together, searching for an excuse to refuse her. He is resting because he's not feeling well. No one is allowed to visit him at the moment. He specifically ordered that no one is to listen to the young lady. Her face hardened with anger. That bastard. She returned to Olga to figure out a plan. What? If you go to the convent, you won't be able to come home for at least half a year, the concerned maid asked. Can't you meet with the second master and beg him? She hung her head low, saying nothing. Suddenly, an idea sparked in her mind. I have a plan. I'll steal the Thinli Lang and eat it again. Then, even if he doesn't want to, he'll have no choice but to meet with me. Olga's jaw dropped in disbelief. What are you talking about? She quickly rushed over to dissuade her. No, you'll be in terrible danger. But that didn't weaken Yana's resolve. Then, what am I supposed to do now? I'm about to be shipped off to the convent. She clutched the hem of her dress, deep in thought. Even though I said that, it's just a ridiculous excuse. What would happen to a child who refused to go to the convent, then conveniently ate a poison and collapsed? The whispers would start behind my back. Tisk, tisk. What kind of pathetic greenhouse management is this? They'll only make things worse by forcing me into a convent. Second uncle, don't you think people will start to reconsider letting you manage this greenhouse? The more Yana thought about it, the more plausible it seemed. Roman's position would be shaken, and he'd have no choice but to reverse his decision about me. But another worry crept into her mind. But I can't just eat the Thien Li Lang fruit like that. Maybe. I can just pretend I ate it. In any case, it's probably smarter to prepare an antidote beforehand. So, Yana thought of another way. Is there a way to sneak out of the castle? Through a door. It was morning in the kingdom, and the streets were bustling with people. Yana had snuck out just as planned. I only asked on a whim, but there really was a secret exit. Suddenly, her eyes filled with old memories. This place hasn't changed at all in 30 years. The back alleys were filled with thugs, vagrants, and illegal immigrants. One wrong turn, and you'd surely be robbed. But that wasn't a problem. She stopped, observing. Every path here was etched into her mind, as if she were reading a map. The reason they called me Guide Lin was because I remembered every single road I had ever walked. Yana slowly turned into an alley, murmuring to herself. If I turn here, I should see a sign. Ah, there it is. The Golden Bell Tavern. She reached out, grabbed the handle, and turned it. This was a place where rare poisons and illicit drugs were frequently traded. I wonder if it's still in business. The door creaked open after a few tries. She stepped inside, looking around. "Excuse me, is anyone here?" She looked at the dusty, dark tables and chairs. "What? Is this place out of business?" Yana took off her hood, her eyes filled with disappointment. "Looking at the painting hanging here, I must be in the right place. The tavern is still clean, so it seems they haven't closed down yet." Suddenly, a loud thud made Yana jump. "Where are the orb fragments? Tell me now if you don't want to die." "I won't talk." A fight was breaking out in the hallway. She hid in a corner, watching with suspicion. "What? Why are they fighting? I am one of the most secretive of swords. I will never utter a single word." The man was quickly overpowered, falling right at Yana's feet as she approached. She stared at them, stunned, her mouth hanging open in shock. Yana was terrified. This can't be anything good, can it? Before her was the frightening scene that had just unfolded. Oh God. I must have accidentally walked right into danger. Seeing the man trembling on the ground made Yana think this might be a fight between two secret gangs. She started to frown. "I don't know the details, but I know one thing for sure. I have to get out of here." Her feet immediately carried her in a rush out of the tavern. As fast as possible, she turned and bolted. Of course, the man couldn't just let Yana get away like that. That kid. She pushed the door open and fled the tavern, a furious shout echoing right behind her. "What are you doing? Get her, quick!" As Yana ran, she thought, "I have to run as fast as I can. There's no telling what'll happen if they catch me." Suddenly, she looked back, stunned. Wait a second. Thinking back, she recalled the scene. Among the men surrounding the staircase, a tiny figure appeared. There was a little boy running. Yana's suspicion grew. This is no place for a child to be wandering around. No way. Was he kidnapped? The thought made her falter. Damn it, what should I do? She remembered the words of her master. Lin, always remember this. Strength is for protecting the weak. If you see someone in danger, do not hesitate. You must help them. Understand? That's what he said. But her panting grew heavier as she pushed past her own limits. This situation is too dangerous. Then, an idea came to Yana. No, I should find someone and ask for help. She abruptly staggered back the moment she realized she was under attack. A dark portal had just been dispelled. This is dark magic. Yana glanced back in disbelief, unable to process that she was being ambushed by dark mages. First, I need to find a place to hide. She suddenly spotted a narrow alleyway and immediately sprinted towards it. As Yana hid in a corner, bolts of dark magic relentlessly flew at her. Damn it, this is no time to be worrying about others. She was in a tough spot. What should I do? Just keep running? Yana's legs were trembling, but in this situation, getting caught was only a matter of time, and her physical condition wasn't good either. Yana muttered, "Besides, why are those people going through so much trouble just to chase a kid?" Yana clenched her fists. "There's so much I don't understand, but I can't die here." She slowly stepped out from her hiding spot, the only way for her to survive. Yana began to channel her power. This very power. As a sword saint, I possess a special power, Aurora. It is a power one can attain through relentless training to find the balance between soul and body. And when you use Aurora, you can manifest transcendent abilities that surpass your own physical limits. Yana pursed her lips, like using Lin's channeling ability with Yana's body. So maybe this Aurora ability. Gritting her teeth, she furrowed her brow. Please, just work. A line of power finally flashed into existence. Yana gripped the energy in her hand. I did it. I've activated it. Now, if I just focus it on my legs and amplify the power. Suddenly, she noticed something strange. Wait, why is it transparent? This energy, and this wavelength. It's definitely Aurora. Yana froze in astonishment. No way. Haven't I fully activated it yet? She realized she was in a dire situation. No. If Aurora is activated incorrectly, instead of increasing my power, it'll lead to side effects. Yana suddenly lost her footing. Ah, a ring of Aurora enveloped her. Her eyes widened at the violet ring surrounding her body. Then, it gently lowered her to the ground. What's happening? A sphere of dark magic shot towards her. Yana quickly dodged the attack. Can I still use its power, even if it's not fully activated? If that's the case, I need to get out of here, fast. The streets were bustling with people. Yana ran into the middle of the market, panting heavily. She looked around, observing her surroundings with caution. They probably can't follow me here, right? Dark mages can't reveal their true identities to others. She sighed in frustration. I couldn't get the antidote like I'd originally planned, but for now, I'll just head back to the castle. Suddenly, a knight appeared in the crowd, calling out, "Lady Yana." The moment she saw him, she turned and fled in terror. "Isn't he a guard knight from House Tusk? Did he leave the castle just to catch me? My lady, wait," he called out, concerned. "Lord Roman ordered me to escort you. I am Knight Smith." She looked back at him, utterly incredulous. "He sent a knight to escort Yana. Are you kidding me?" She pursed her lips, standing still as she thought. "Someone who's never even shown his face to me is now my bodyguard? It makes more sense to think of him as one of Roman's spies." Seeing the lady remain silent, Smith explained, "You suddenly disappeared, so I've been searching for you for a long time. Where have you been?" A different plan formed in her mind. "That's right, if I'm being stopped on my way, I just have to do the opposite." Yana immediately burst into tears and rushed forward, throwing her arms around the knight. Yana schemed against Smith, who had already shown his hand. "I'll take this chance and use him. Please save me. I need your help." "I saw a child in danger," Yana pleaded with tears in her eyes. "We have to save that child as soon as possible." She then grabbed his wrist and started pulling him along. "Come with me." Smith pulled her back, wanting a clearer explanation. "Wait, please explain the situation to me." Yana had already concocted a story and told the knight. Just a moment ago, I saw some bad men in a shop, and a boy about my age was taken hostage." Smith's jaw dropped in alarm. "Really?" She became even more insistent that he follow her. "Yes, that's why I need someone to help." "Then I understand. Let's go. Where is it?" Smith was now more than eager to help. "This way." The two of them finally returned to the tavern. My lady." He began to look around. "Is this the place? It doesn't look like anyone's here." Just as they stepped inside, a noise was heard. "Hey, who are you people?" A sleepy old man came downstairs, yawning. "The shop isn't open at this hour." Smith stepped in front of Yana protectively. "Are you the owner of this shop?" The old man nodded, narrowing his eyes. "Yeah, I am. But why do you ask?" He immediately took on a dismissive attitude, trying to shoo them away. "If you don't have any business here, don't bother me and get out." Shielding the young lady, Smith found himself in an awkward position. Over there." From behind Smith, Yana let out a contemptuous smirk. "Seriously? This guy isn't the owner." She had finally noticed the discrepancies in his clothing, especially considering he was in the slums. His appearance was too neat, and his clothes were luxurious, without a single speck of dust. Yana was reminded of the men in black. It seemed more likely that this guy was connected to them, and so, Yana stepped forward. "Excuse me, sir." She then pretended to be weak. "I'm sorry, I accidentally dropped something while I was walking around here." "Oh, I'm suddenly feeling so dizzy." "I'm sorry, my illness is acting up again." Smith immediately ran over to support the girl who was putting on an act. "Milady, are you all right? Is something wrong?" She immediately grew suspicious of the man before her. It seems this man doesn't know that Yana's body is very weak. Just as I predicted, he isn't my real escort knight, but there's no other choice now. I called him to come with me because I didn't want to face these guys alone, but since there's no one else here, I might as well send him away. She had no choice but to pretend. "I may have overexerted myself. I'd like to sit here and rest for a bit," Yana asked him in a soft voice. "Sir Smith, could you please go find that child for me, by myself?" She nodded and described him. "Yes, he's wearing a blue cloak. I'm counting on you." He let her sit on a chair. "Oh, I understand. I'll find him and come right back. Please don't go anywhere. Just wait here. Don't worry." He rushed out of the tavern, not forgetting to add, "I'll be back as soon as I can." Inside the tavern, only she and the old man pretending to be the owner remained. He opened his mouth in anger. "You little brat, you've got some nerve, don't you? Daring to come back here on your own." He already had a knife hidden on him. "If you had left with that guy, you might have saved your own skin." He laughed with contempt. "But now, you're just a mouse caught in a trap. Die." The old man swung the knife down. Yana remained calmly seated in her chair as if nothing was happening. Just as the knife reached her eyes, the old man's face twisted in terror. "The knife? What's going on?" Yana stood up from the chair, a powerful aura surrounding her. "You can use an aura?" Yana smiled and snapped her fingers. "You're pretty sharp. By the way, I'll let you in on a little secret. In the world of combat, there's one important rule you must always remember. You have to strike before your opponent does." Yana controlled the hilt of her sword, smashing it right into the man's face. The old man staggered and fell to the floor, knocked out cold. Yana chuckled to herself. "Well, come to think of it, I guess I was the one who struck first, wasn't I?" Suddenly, a sound rang out, and her face turned pale with alarm. "Damn it, it's draining my energy. I should avoid using too much of my aura at once. But with this," Yana held a rope in her hand as she slowly approached him. "I can easily get the information I want from him, can't I?" The carriage was returning to the kingdom. Sir, we've reached the gate. We'll be at the castle soon. Leonhardt nodded. Is that so? He lifted the curtain to look out the window. It's been a long time since I've seen this view. His expression suddenly stiffened. On the street, a familiar face appeared. Isn't that one of the knights from our house, Tusl? A knight has many duties. Why is he in this market? The carriage came to a stop. Bring that knight here at once. Yes, sir. Smith was startled and bowed in confusion. My humblest greetings to you, my lord, and to the fourth young master. I am Smith, here to see you, sir. Leonhardt looked out and asked, That's enough with the greetings. Why are you in this market? He bowed his head respectfully. Sir, I came here to find someone under Lady Yana's orders. Ja narrowed his eyes in astonishment. Lady Yana has left the castle? The knight told the truth. Yes, we are currently in the process of looking for her. And suddenly, she ordered me to rescue a young boy. The man's frown deepened. Rescue a young boy? Was the boy kidnapped? Yes, something like that. Then where is Yana? Knight Smith became flustered. Well, suddenly, her ladyship said she wasn't feeling well and decided to rest at a shop. Hearing this, Ja immediately bolted from the carriage. Where is Yana? Smith was terrified by his reaction. Sir, take me to her. That's an order, right now, Yana shouted. Wake up, wake up. The old man jolted awake and struggled. Yana lunged forward, holding a knife threateningly. You're awake, are you? What is this? She flashed a dazzling smile. Did you sleep well? Waiting for you to wake up almost made me pass out. The very next second, her voice turned threatening again. If you hadn't woken up, I was planning on using more drastic measures. The old man trembled in fear. He shivered, trying to calm himself. Calm down. Put the knife down. Let's talk. I'll listen to whatever you have to say. This was going exactly according to the plan Yana had laid out from the very beginning. She stepped forward and asked, You'll listen to anything, will you? What about all those threats from before? So you're humbling yourself now? He trembled as he admitted. Of course, that's only natural. He even flattered Yana, who was sitting across from him with her chin in her hand. How could I dare to defy someone with such masterful sword skills as yourself? So please, whatever you ask, just tell me. I will do anything, she bluntly stated her demands. All right, there are two things that I want. First, the pill. It's here, isn't it? As soon as the words left her mouth, the man was speechless. I don't know anything about that. Yana smiled, exposing his lie. How could you not know? All illegally manufactured drugs that lacked the Empire's approval had gathered here for decades. The man kept his head bowed low. If you know that much, then I can't pretend to be a fool. He then gave her the answer, telling her about a red wooden box on the other side of the room. Opening the box, Yana walked over as instructed. So, it was in this box. Inside were some pills, and she smiled with satisfaction. They really do look like fairy pills. But Yana still turned back to question him. Are you sure these are real? He shouted in anger. I carefully dried every single fairy willow petal to create these pills. If you don't believe me, I'll make one right in front of you. Yana closed the box and nodded. In that case, I believe you. Next, the second thing I want is information about the boy who was here. Yana glanced at the old man. You know, don't you? Did you take him hostage? Where is he now? Her questions hit a nerve. I can't say. Please, spare me. But she already had a knife in her hand. You don't have the right to say that. You know you don't. I guess you don't care much for your own life, do you? This time, the man stood firm in his resolve. Even if I'm just a subordinate, there are things I fear more than death itself. But he offered a firm promise. However, I can assure you, that boy is not in the danger you think he is. After that, he fell completely silent. I can't say anything more, so don't try to dig any deeper. Yana felt a small sense of relief. If he's safe, then I don't need to worry anymore. All right, she agreed to the deal. I won't ask any more about it. Thank you. Yana pocketed the pills and said casually, My business here is done. I'm leaving now. You can untie yourself. The man panicked. What? Wait. But she had no intention of staying to help. See ya. Yana coolly walked out of the tavern. Her thoughts turned to the knight. By the way, it seems that Knight Smith still isn't back. It'd be a pain to go looking for him now. Should I just go back alone? A deep, steady voice called out from behind her. Yana. She turned in surprise to see a handsome man appearing before her. He reached out and pulled her into an embrace. Jiha? What? Who is this? How does he know my name? She looked up, full of questions but not daring to ask. Could it be? He's from the Tusl family. Yes. Just then, Smith ran up. Fourth young master. Lady Yana, you're here too. Yana's eyes widened in shock for a few seconds. Leonhardt approached and asked, Jiha, is Yana all right? He shook his head after looking her over once. Yes, it seems she isn't hurt anywhere. This person. Yana glanced to the side. So the one who sent all those gifts was the fourth young master? If that's the case. She looked hesitantly at the man standing before her. Then this must be the head of the Tusl family. Yana bit her lip, trying to think of a way out of this. I only planned to sneak out for a little bit and come right back, but I never imagined I'd be caught red-handed by the family head himself. What excuse can I possibly make? The man finally spoke to her. Yana, why are you here? And out? All by yourself, no less. Your body is still weak. Yana could only sigh and meekly reply, yes, sir. Did something happen while I was away from the castle? Her hands clenched tightly, an answer already forming in her heart. That's right. The family head has been away from the castle for a long time. He definitely hasn't received any reports during that time. This is the perfect chance. I'll convince him. Yana's eyes immediately welled up with tears. The truth is, sir, second uncle is furious with me because I secretly ate the heavenly lilang fruit from the greenhouse. He shouted in astonishment. You ate the heavenly lilang fruit? She knew she was in the wrong. Yes, I realize I was wrong, and I've tried to apologize so many times. The more she cried, the more pitiful she looked. But uncle said he can't forgive me and even threatened to send me to the Pindi Dias convent. I don't want to go to that convent. So I tried to apologize to second uncle one more time, but he was so angry he wouldn't even look at me. Her lower lip trembled even more, so I thought if I bought him a gift, he might soften up. Leonhardt sighed. Oh dear, is that why you left the castle? Yes, that's right. Yana hid a small smile. Perfect, that was smooth. This should work. But suddenly, her gaze wavered. Jiha's eyes were fixed on Yana, and his stare was making her nervous. Wait, isn't the atmosphere getting a little tense? He rested his chin on his hand, looking puzzled. Yana, why did you eat the heavenly lilang fruit? The question made her freeze. Yana stammered, I read in a book that the fruit was very sweet. Jiha's brow furrowed as he pressed her. So you ate it. Was it sweet? She looked down defiantly. I don't remember. He stepped closer, cornering her. You don't remember? Are you sure you ate it just because you were curious? She shot Jiha an irritated look, fuming internally. What the? Why is this guy asking so many questions? I thought he was a decent person, since he was always so concerned about me. Turns out he's no different from Roman. Leonhardt finally stepped in to rescue her. Jiha, why are you asking about that? You're scaring Yana. But he still wanted to press the matter. But isn't it strange? She went to the greenhouse, a place she rarely visits, and caused such a commotion. And the reason was simply because I wanted to explore the taste of the wolf pear fruit. That doesn't exactly sound like a reasonable answer. On the outside, Yana bowed her head in acceptance, but inside, she was screaming in frustration. Oh my God, can we just let this go? Hearing his argument, Leonhardt couldn't help but smile and sigh. In any case, I understand how you feel. So, this happened while I was away from the castle, which is why you had to come all this way yourself. Yana's eyes widened as she looked at her uncle, who casually placed a hand on her shoulder. Seizing the opportunity, she began to sob. Yes, I hope you'll be less angry, uncle. All right, I understand everything now. Suddenly, his tone became serious as he warned her. But look, Roman is the one who has cared for you like your own parent all this time. So, if he wants to send you to a convent for discipline, no one has the right to interfere. However, I will grant you an extension. He promised. That's the best I can do. This incident is entirely your fault. Do you understand? Yana froze, her eyes wide. What is this? I need to find a way to not get kicked out. But she bowed her head to thank Leonhardt. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Suddenly, she felt dizzy, as if floating in midair. Yana was aware that her health was deteriorating drastically. In her ears, she could hear panicked voices calling out to her. Yana, what's wrong? She wondered dimly. Are the side effects of the aurora starting? Is it happening again? Finally, the little girl lost consciousness. That familiar feeling again. This is Yana's memory. What the hell happened? In this moment, she was being questioned by Leonhardt. Yana, did you burn down the training hall? The terrified girl lowered her head, not daring to say a word. No, it wasn't me. Lin stood to the side, watching in disbelief. This is Yana's voice. The little girl could only mumble, unable to speak up. I didn't do it. I'm not the one who started the fire. I swear. The more Lin watched, the more her heart ached for the little girl. Why don't you just tell the truth? She thought, pained. Just say what's on your mind. Why are you being so silent? Roman stepped forward and gripped the girl's shoulder tightly, as if to force the guilt upon her. Yana, isn't the family head asking you a question? Answer him. Now, Yana could only weep, lowering her head in humiliation. I'm sorry. In the end, her only choice was to take all the blame. I was wrong, please forgive me. Lin gritted her teeth. She ran out of the room, her heart filled with a mixture of rage and pity for the little girl. No matter how she thought about it, she couldn't understand why Roman would go this far, and why no one was protecting Yana. Suddenly, Lin remembered a familiar face. That's right, Karen. Where is Karen? She wouldn't just leave Yana alone. Elsewhere, someone was looking for Yana. A sound came from a room not far away. What's this? Lin slowly approached. It was a voice she had never heard before. Mother. It was a small child, crying and begging in Karen's arms. What should I do? Nina Ben is so scared. She was putting on an innocent act, her words dripping with false sweetness. I didn't think I would hurt so many people. I was wrong to start the fire. Karen gently stroked her daughter's hair, comforting her. Don't worry, my daughter. No one will blame you, Nina Ben said softly. But the servants saw me. What if the rumors spread? She even saw herself as superior, whispering to her mother about the rumors she'd concocted in her head. Nina Ben is a smart and kind lady. What if the others and the family head misunderstand and think I'm stupid? But Karen immediately dismissed it. My daughter, that will never happen. Your father has already taken Yana to see the family head. Standing outside the room, Lin was stunned. It's all for you, Yana. Yana will understand. Lin couldn't believe her eyes. That child is being punished in Nina Ben's place. Lin slowly backed away from the room. She had trusted the wrong person. She had trusted Karen. But in the end, she was no different. They wanted to use her for the sake of their own daughter, Nina Ben. In this castle, Yana was nothing more than a scapegoat to cover up Nina Ben's wrongdoings. Images of the past flooded back one by one. Yana will understand. Lin cares deeply, so she will understand. It's all to eliminate the evil, thorny orb. Die. For the future of the world, Lin snapped, shouting, "Shut up!" Then she stood up and ran until she was too exhausted to continue. Leaning against a wall, she thought, at least I learned one thing. Thanks to you, filthy scumbags. To survive in this world, I have to use others too. Just like Sabrina and Theo, and just like how Roman and Karen used Yana. Lin's eyes filled with hatred. So I will find a way to survive in this goddamn family, and I will get my revenge on everyone who used us. Then, Yana jolted awake from the dream. She clutched the blanket and mumbled her maid's name. Yana screamed in panic. Ona, where are you? Ona. But then, another voice rang out, silencing her. Your maid isn't here. Yana immediately turned her head towards the sound. J-Heart, why is this person here? She couldn't hide her surprise, her eyes wide with shock. What the hell is going on? Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, this isn't my room. Jay looked at his niece with concern. Yana, are you all right? How are you feeling? For a moment, Yana didn't know how to react. She awkwardly looked down. I fell to the floor. My head is spinning like a top, and my stomach is churning. I don't have a single ounce of strength left in my body. It wouldn't be a surprise if I passed out again. So she quickly answered him. I'm fine, uncle. After replying, Yana immediately bowed her head again. Her heart was hammering against her ribs. Am I under so much pressure that I can't even admit I'm in pain? Jiha snapped the book in his hands shut. And not gently. You're fine? I heard you fainted several times since that incident. How could I possibly believe that you're fine? Yana hung her head low in shame. Is he actually worried, or is he just mocking me? Seeing his niece looking so silently remorseful, Jiha's tone softened a little. He called out her name. Hey, Yana. Yana slowly lifted her head to look at him. Jiha immediately asked her, why the sudden change? Why are you calling me uncle? Yana's eyes flew wide open, the corner of her mouth twitching. Huh? What does he mean? Don't tell me the old Yana only ever called him fourth young master? To salvage the situation, she quickly propped her chin on her hand and gazed at Jiha adoringly. So, is it wrong for me to call you that? Jiha looked at her and replied reluctantly, I didn't say that. Yana shamelessly pushed on, then I'll call you that from now on. Jiha's attitude suddenly shifted. He whipped his head around and completely ignored her. Do whatever you want. Yana was incredibly frustrated. She shot him a look that could kill. Ugh, for crying out loud. Does he like it or not? Could he please just be clear for once? Jiha suddenly informed her. Oh, that's right. I'm planning to move your residence to the main building. I will be taking care of you during this time, so I'll see you later. The next morning, in the main building of Tusl Castle, a loud shriek echoed through the space. No way! I can't believe Milady was moved into the main building. She pranced around Yana's new room. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful in here. Compared to your old room, this is on a whole different level. Yana, however, was completely calm. You seem really excited. Is it that great here? Ona looked at her with sparkling, admiring eyes. It is. Servants like me usually work in the annex, so being transferred to the main building is extremely rare. Ever since I moved here, the stares from the other servants have actually been scaring me. It's like everyone is overreacting. Yana remained silent, lost in another thought. Now that I think about it, direct members of the family are supposed to live in the main building. So why was I in the annex? Ona. How long was I living in the annex? While arranging the luggage, Ona answered her question distractedly. I don't remember. I don't know the specific details, but there was a time you were isolated because of a serious infection. Do you remember? You were assigned to live in the annex after that, so it must have been about 3 years. Yana was inwardly shocked. She had an infectious disease? They probably just used that as an excuse to lock her away in the annex and isolate her. Ona continued, but whether it's the annex or the main building, it doesn't really affect you much. Milady, you've always wanted to leave this castle, after all. Yana listened silently as Ona told her the story. But of course, that's impossible, milady. Ona turned her head and noticed Yana's dazed expression. She suddenly let out a long sigh. Ona called out to Yana, Milady, have you heard the news? I heard that relatives of the family will be visiting the castle. Yana just gave a perfunctory reply. Is that so? Why is it that the Nega clan, despite being one of the 4 great families, cannot produce a hero? What does that have to do with me? Ona was quite confused by the calmness in her question. What do you mean? Won't you be able to meet the young master of the family? If you could get engaged to him, wouldn't your life be set? Yana couldn't believe Ona was already thinking so far into her future. Hey, don't say such ridiculous things. Ona was crushed, as if Yana had just poured a bucket of cold water on her. Why not? You're just a little childish and a bit thin. But if you look closely, you're very beautiful, just like a doll. Once you become an adult, I'm sure your suitors will be lining up all around the castle. I guarantee it. So you should take a walk every now and then and look around. Forget it. Yana smiled and thought to herself, Ona, I have my own thoughts on this matter. Right, the head of the family isn't here, and I heard the family's young master is coming to the castle. Should I go and greet him? As she passed by the desk, she suddenly noticed some papers on top of it. Yana picked up the book, placed next to the papers. Why does this book look so beautiful? What language is this? I've never seen it before. Did the head of the family translate it himself, or did he hire a scholar? Just then, Mr. Leon entered the study with another person. That person was asking as they walked, so what should we do? Mr. Leon replied, in this case, have the Shadow Knights stay in the annex. It will be a hassle if any unnecessary conflict arises with those people. He spotted his little niece sitting just ahead. Yana, what are you doing here? Yana ran to Mr. Leon's side with a genuinely radiant smile. Ah, grandfather, you're here. I came to see you, but since you weren't in your office, I was just waiting and reading a book. Mr. Leon never expected her to claim she was reading. He told his companion, you can go on ahead. I'll speak with you about the rest later. The person bowed and replied, yes, I understand. Leon H. turned to Yana and said, Yana, I'll let it slide this time. From now on, you are not to come here in the evening without an invitation. Yana obediently replied, yes, I'll be more careful from now on. Pleased, Leon H. let out a chuckle. Good. By the way, you seem to be looking healthier. Yana smiled as well. I've been taking my medicine and getting plenty of rest, so I'm feeling much better. Leon H. sat down beside Yana. I see. But what book are you reading? Yana answered him honestly. I found this book on your desk. The illustrations inside are so beautiful and artistic that I lost track of time while I was absorbed in it. Leon H. took it from her. Ha, of all the books, you chose this one? This is a book that explains an ancient scripture called Gonrat, so there must be many parts you can't understand, right? Yana rested her chin on her hand, looking thoughtful. She frowned with worry and asked, is that so? I didn't think it was such a difficult book. If it's Gonrat, I've already memorized it all. Leon H. looked utterly astonished. What? You've memorized this entire ancient text? Yana replied, with a bright smile. Of course, there are some parts I'm missing, but I'm a very fast learner. Leon H. eyes widened in shock, but then he just smiled. He walked over, patting Yana's head. Heh, don't lie, little one. This book isn't something you can easily understand. I'll find a more suitable book for you, Yana pouted, but I'm not lying. I really have memorized it all. Then, fuming with frustration, she grabbed Leon H.'s hand, pulled him towards the desk and said, let me write it down. I'll show you. With that, she picked up a pen and began to write in the Gonrat language. When she finished, she looked up at Leon H. What do you think? As for Leon H., he was completely taken aback. He quickly grabbed the paper she had written on and asked in disbelief, My goodness, Yana, how could you? Is it possible you've studied Gonrot before? Yana looked at him and replied, No, in my entire life. Has anyone ever bothered to teach me properly? Leon H. was stunned. He asked, What? You mean you don't even have a tutor? Yana smiled brightly and replied, That's right, but I have a better memory than others, so studying isn't very difficult for me. She thought, It sounds like I'm bragging, but it's the truth. My memory is special. Besides remembering roads and landscapes, I can also apply it in many different ways, which means I can learn difficult texts very quickly. Looking at the pensive Leon H. before her, she thought, So hurry up and acknowledge my worth. Are you really going to let your brilliant granddaughter be neglected like this? I mean, hurry up and get on my side. Leon H. stroked his chin and asked, Yana, let me ask you something. Do you enjoy studying ancient texts? Yana replied with feigned excitement. Yes. It's a lot of fun. Leon H. placed a hand on her shoulder and continued. Then would you be willing to listen to my proposal? Come to this room every 3 days and solve the puzzles in the Gonrat with me. It's not mandatory, so you can refuse. And even if you participate, you can stop whenever you lose interest. Yana put on a thoughtful expression and asked, Yes, I'll do it. But if I help you, how do you plan to compensate me? Her question took Leon H. by surprise. Seeing him fall silent, Yana felt a bit tense. Suddenly, Leon H. burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, oh my, this child, you're so sharp and clever. He rubbed her head and agreed. All right, I will compensate you. What do you want? Yana thought to herself. Good. At least he's playing along. She took a step back and replied, Right now, I can't think of anything in particular. Actually, rather than a reward, I just want to spend some happy time with you. Grandfather, I'm always so lonely in the annex. Her words pained Leon H.'s heart. Yana lowered her head to hide her smirk. She thought, that sounds reasonable. That's right, old man. I'm giving you a hint. You must feel sorry for Yana, who's always skulking around the annex all alone, right? You need to remember this and take very good care of me. From now on, Leon H. stroked his beard and said, Well then, I will call for you later. You may go for today. Yana replied, Yes, grandfather. As she ran to the door, she didn't forget to turn back and say to Leon H. with a bright smile, I had a lot of fun today. I'll see you later. Stepping out of the room, Yana jumped for joy, celebrating the successful recruitment of the family head to her side. He seemed flustered just now, unsure of how to act because he felt pity for me, didn't he? Even though he's a man of strict principles, it's surprising that he has moments of weakness too. Yana smiled, satisfied. If things keep going like this, the problem of being kicked out to the annex can finally be solved. From now on, I'll have to help him with his work. At this thought, Yana's eyes burned with a fiery spirit as she wondered, I wonder how uncomfortable Roman will get. He'll probably be sick to his stomach seeing me in the main house. The more she thought about it, the greater the flame of determination grew inside her. Whatever tricks you have up your sleeve, hurry up and show me your best. I will. Letting him know I was one step ahead of him. The scene shifts to an afternoon tea with Leonhardt and the couple, Roman and Karen. In the terrifyingly silent atmosphere, Roman was extremely tense. Unable to bear it any longer, he spoke up. Father, is there something you wanted to say to me? Leonhardt slowly called out. Roman, it seems a lot has happened while I was away, especially regarding the safety of the greenhouse. Hearing this, Roman's face went pale with fear. Leonhardt asked, How could something like that have happened? Roman glanced nervously at his wife and stammered, I apologize, father. I have nothing to say. Karen frowned at Roman, and he immediately continued. However, after this incident, I do intend to strengthen the greenhouse's security. First, we will propose a collaboration with the alchemy department and plan to develop an intrusion alarm system that won't affect the greenhouse's environment. So please, do not worry. After hearing this, Leonhardt remained silent. A moment later, he finally spoke. Fine, if that's what you say, then make sure a mistake like this never happens again in the future. Leonhardt looked at Roman with a serious expression and said, The existence of the poisonous plants in that greenhouse must not be known to outsiders. Roman nodded and replied, Yes, father, I understand. As the one responsible, I will be sure to remember. Leonhardt lifted his teacup for a sip and asked, By the way, Yana seems different lately, doesn't she? Karen was surprised to hear him mention Yana. She asked, Father, you've met Yana? Leonhardt answered nonchalantly. Yes, I've met the child a few times. She spoke to me rather boldly. Hearing this, Roman smirked. He said, "Exactly. That timid little girl used to just hide in her room. I don't know what's gotten into her lately, daring to cause trouble all over the place." The more he spoke, the more irritated he became. His anger towards that brat had reached its limit. In the middle of his rant, he caught Leonhardt's murderous glare. Roman froze. Leonhardt's face darkened as he asked, "Roman, what exactly did you mean by that? Are you not aware that a child who always locks herself in her room has suddenly started running around outside? I was under the impression you were taking good care of Yana, but it seems you've been neglecting the child." Hearing this, Roman stammered, No, father. I meant," Karen interjected from the side. "As you know, father, Yana has always stayed in her room because her health was poor. However, she has gotten much better in recent days, and it seems she's become more curious. That's why she's been going out to explore the castle." Karen sighed and lamented to Leonhardt, but it's undeniable that when she goes to dangerous places like the greenhouse, there are so many things to worry about and be concerned over. Moreover, Yana is the same age as our Nanaben. How many children are there at this age? Aren't they just so elegant and sensitive? Even when we try to investigate more thoroughly, there are many things that don't go according to an adult's wishes. We should put more heart into this matter. Please trust me and leave it to me." Leonhardt lowered his head. A moment later, he said softly, "All right, I understand. But if all of this is a lie, then you'd best be prepared." This statement served as a warning bell for Karen's future actions. Leonhardt said firmly, "I say that, but I'm going to be quite busy myself. As for that child, there's not much I can do. So from now on, I will trust you two to handle things more responsibly, just as you've said here. I trust that you will take better care of Yana in the future." Roman flinched and looked down. He replied meekly, "Yes, father." "Is there anything else?" Leonhardt suddenly remembered something that would completely stun the couple. And starting soon, Yana will be staying in the Binda's drawing room. I'm not just sending her away to be watched over. The child also said she would be helping me. Roman was shocked that his father would so easily allow Yana into such an important place. "What do you mean, father? What kind of help could she possibly?" Leonhardt calmly cut him off. "It's nothing to worry about. I'll tell you later. It seems Yana doesn't have a tutor. Do you know anyone who could serve as her teacher?" Karen said in a low voice. "There is one person, Lucien Panel." Leonhardt repeated the name. "You're thinking of Lucien Panel, of the Sino family. As a theologian, is he trustworthy?" Karen tapped her fingers lightly on the table as she replied, "Yes, he is. He is young, but he has a broad perspective and profound thoughts." Leonhardt gave a slight nod. "I see. Bring me his file within 2 days." Karen was quite surprised by his urgent request. "Father, forgive me for being presumptuous, but may I ask why you wish to see his information file? It seems this is the first time you've taken an interest in a child's education. If he doesn't meet your requirements, I can find someone else." Leonhardt quickly raised a hand, stopping Karen from speaking further. "No, I'm simply curious about what kind of person he is. In any case, send the documents to my office, as soon as possible." One of them seemed to want to say more. "Father, but," Leonhardt stood up decisively and left. As expected, Roman couldn't stand things being so disadvantageous for him. What did that little brat do to father?" Karen took his hand, comforting him gently. "She's quite the smooth talker. Don't worry, Roman. No matter what Yana does with his father, they will never win against us. That child has no other choice. But to obey us, there has to be a reason for everything, doesn't there?" Roman finally felt a sense of relief. He flashed a sinister smile. "That's right. There's still a way. Yes, there's no way our plan will fail over something like this. In the afternoon, her family will go to the castle, and the guests will stay in the annex. The Dark Knights of the Guard will also arrive in large numbers." As a result, a whining Yana jogged along, cursing herself for losing her exercise spot. "Luckily, I found a forest where I could run, but I still hope she'll be back soon." Suddenly, she stopped when she saw someone standing in front of her. The boy had golden hair, and though his face was obscured, it was still bright enough to shine under the sun. The boy turned his head to look at her. Yana was a little startled. Who's that? It's someone I've never seen before. Is he Yana's cousin, or a distant relative?" That boy, or rather, Chech, spoke first. "Hello. Are you the one from the sand dunes?" Yana nodded slightly but didn't reply, as she was busy thinking, "I thought you were just a guest staying at the castle. Or are you one of the Dark Knights?" Chech suddenly let out a small scoff. A knight of light? An ambitious knight? A few ideas popped into Yana's head after his question. A passionate journalist? Are you asking if I'm a passionate journalist? Ah, what a worthy workout. I guess you're asking because you can see I'm physically fit? But Chech threw cold water on her enthusiasm. No, I'm asking because I saw you running. Yana's smile vanished. I can't listen to this anymore. How long have I been exercising? I was born this way. She arrogantly turned her head and walked away. Anyway, I get it. I have to get back to my training, so I'm leaving. Chech seemed to want to say something else to her, but Yana couldn't care less. She really did continue her jog. I'm feeling good. Should I run 2 more laps today? Wait a minute. Those footsteps don't sound like mine. Yana jumped in surprise. She instinctively sprinted forward. What is it? Why are you following me? Chech didn't hesitate to run after her. Yana, you haven't answered me. So, are you a journalist or not? Yana screamed. Is it that important? Not paying attention to her feet, she tripped on a rock and fell hard. Finally, both of them stopped. Chech was slightly startled. He quickly bent down and asked Yana, Are you okay? You're bleeding. Wait a moment. I'll take care of it for you. Yana shouted, stopping him. No, I'm fine. You don't have to worry. I can't believe I'm showing such a pathetic side of myself to someone else. If Ona saw this, she would nag me again. Chech suddenly spoke from behind her. You know what? You're very persistent. Seeing Chech's eyes sparkling with admiration, Yana was at a loss for words. Chech continued, I like persistent people like you. It's not that I have any romantic feelings for you, but somehow, I feel like I want to talk to you more. If we meet again, I'll tell you about a training exercise that's perfect for you. Well then, goodbye. Yana was left standing there stunned, thinking in frustration. How annoying. Who do you think you are to teach me? Yana returned to her room, thinking, I've had enough strange encounters for one day. But she immediately heard Ona's moans. Seeing Yana, Ona was just as startled. Yana rushed to her side. Ona, what's wrong? What happened? Ona clutched her stomach, groaning and asking in confusion. What? I was fine this morning. When did it start? Ona said something shocking. Your snack. After I ate it. Yana couldn't make heads or tails of it. Seeing Ona like this, she was a bit flustered. What do you mean? Explain in more detail. No, I think you should lie down now. Yana helped Ona onto her bed. In pain and exhausted, Ona said, Thank you, my lady. Yana sat down on the small chair beside the bed. Then she started to get to the bottom of it. What happened? Ona, does it still hurt? She recounted her story, trembling. Earlier, you left a few pieces of chocolate cookie. Ever since I ate them, my stomach has felt a bit sharp, and now it's cramping up. Yana said suspiciously, That's strange. I ate them too, but I'm fine. Ona looked at her and said, I know, but why am I the only one? The baker and all the other maids who ate this cookie are all fine. Yana quickly came up with a plausible answer for everything. Those who ate the cookies earlier had no reaction, but the person who ate the leftover crumbs got a stomachache. Then it can only mean one thing. She suddenly shot up and ran off. Yana returned with something in her hand. Ona, eat this, quickly. Ona opened her eyes to look at Yana. What is it? Yana, losing her patience with the girl's curiosity, roughly shoved it into Ona's mouth. Stop talking and just eat it. Don't spit it out and don't vomit. Swallow it, now. Ona covered her mouth and whined, My lady, this is really hard to eat, and it tastes awful. Oh, but suddenly my stomach feels much better. Yana finally let out a silent sigh of relief. That's right. Listen carefully. It seems someone put poison in my food. Ona jumped in shock at her whisper. Did you say poison? Who would do such a thing? Yana turned her head and said in a deeply sinister voice, Well, it could be my second uncle. He's always seen me as a thorn in his side. It's a good thing I prepared the Mukhangyangan in advance, otherwise things wouldn't have turned out this way. Onga suddenly remembered something. Oh, that's right. I heard there's a friendly swordsmanship tournament between the Knights of Light and the Knights of Darkness tomorrow. Could it be to prevent you from going there, milady? Yana smiled, as if she'd just had a revelation. It seems so. Does he really hate his niece that much? If that's the case, then I have to go even more. Onga, are those cakes still around? Onga quickly replied, Yes, there are still plenty. Yana immediately told her, Cut them beautifully and wrap them up. Cut them real nice, you damned uncle. I'm going to return the gift you gave me, just as beautifully. See you tomorrow. The next morning, Onga was busy arranging Yana's long, beautiful hair. She was even trying to figure out how to style it nicely. Onga also helped Yana pick out high-heeled shoes. After finishing everything, Onga noticed that her skills had really leveled up. Oh my goodness, milady, you look so adorable. You're like a fairy straight out of a fairy tale. Of course, no one in the entire empire could be as cute as you, milady. Yana seemed to be completely used to this. She said, There you go again. Anyway, please hurry up and tie my hair for me. Onga asked her, What about the hairstyle? Yana thought for a moment. Yes, I want to tie it up. I can't possibly go there with my hair down, can I? Onga looked like she was on the verge of a breakdown. But what am I supposed to do? Milady, I don't even know how to do my own hair. Yana never expected to encounter such a difficult problem. What? A maid from a noble family can say that? Onga explained awkwardly. It's because I'm just a regular maid. This kind of hands-on work should be left to a personal attendant. You look beautiful as you are. Can't we just leave it? Yana shot back. Of course not. This is a gathering for the entire family. Onga still seemed a bit reluctant to do her hair. She was even making excuses. The door to the room suddenly burst open, and they both turned to see Jiha. Yana thought in surprise, Jiha, why are you here? You surprised me, coming in without knocking. Jiha let out a sigh before speaking. How many times do you think I knocked? But it was all just noise, without any response. Yana pouted at Jiha. I guess I didn't hear you because I was busy arguing with Onga. Jiha stepped into the room. It seems you're still not ready. Are you two planning to go looking like this? Yana thought reluctantly. Well, it's not like I like this look anyway, but it looks like I'll have to go like this. It can't be helped. Jiha suddenly picked up a comb and said to Yana, let me help. Both Onga and Yana were completely stunned by his offer. Really? Jiha sat down in a chair, ready to get to work. If you don't like it, you can just go as you are. Yana quickly said, no, please do. I sat down, but can I really trust him? But how is he so skilled? Jiha remained focused on his niece's hair. So much so that he didn't even notice Yana's jaw-dropped expression of astonishment. He suddenly said to her, bring me a few small clips. Onga quickly replied, yes, right away. Jiha selected a few small clips and helped Yana pin her hair up high. Onga looked at Yana in amazement. Milady. Yana looked like a completely different person. Onga gazed at her in admiration. It looks so beautiful with this hairstyle. Jiha suddenly asked her, Yana, what do you think? Yana was a little shy, and she replied softly, I like it too. Thank you, uncle. Looking at herself in the mirror with the beautiful hairstyle, Yana couldn't help but feel confused. But Jiha is single and has no children. Is he trying to prove he's so skilled he could win an award? By the way, does he often touch his lover's hair? You can get pretty skilled at doing hair after meeting a lot of girls. Thinking about it, my master also did my hair beautifully. Well, I used to take care of the kids at the orphanage back then. One girl left a strong impression on me. They liked to tie their hair up really tightly, but that style didn't suit them at all. I wonder what my master is doing now. Jiha's voice gently called out beside her ear, Yana, Yana. She was startled, snapping out of her daze. Huh? Jiha told her, we have to go now. Let's hurry. Yana jumped off the chair and ran after him. Yes, uncle. But then Jiha turned his head, stopping to wait for Yana to catch up. He heard his niece ask softly, am I going with you? Hearing his niece ask him that, Jiha was a little speechless. You're stating the obvious. Why else do you think I came to pick you up? I already mentioned that I would be your guardian, didn't I? Yana couldn't control the expression on her small face. She pouted a little. I didn't think this guy was serious. I just thought you were being polite. Jiha urged his niece on. Anyway, hurry up before it's too late. Yana rushed after him. Yes, uncle. The long-legged Jiha walked ahead, while the short-legged little Yana scurried to keep up behind him. As Yana ran, she thought, I can't read his thoughts. Does he genuinely care about Yana, or is he just reluctantly taking responsibility for her? Now I'll have to keep an eye on him. Suddenly, a sharp pain in her knee caught her attention. This knee pain started yesterday. I should probably get it treated. Even if it's just a little. Just then, Jiha turned his head. He had noticed something was off with Yana. What's wrong? Yana quickly forced a smile. Oh, my leg just suddenly felt weak. I'll catch up in a second. Jiha suddenly smiled, a sort of helpless smile. He walked toward Yana, much to her surprise. Without any warning, Jiha swept her up into his arms. Yana let out a startled cry. Sir, I'm fine. I can walk on my own. Please put me down. Jiha looked directly into Yana's eyes and said, You think you can keep up with those slow steps of yours? You already wasted enough time doing your hair. This is the only way we'll get there on time, so just stay still. Yana looked back at him. It seemed she didn't agree with Jiha's method. Seriously, this old man. His actions are so sweet, but why are his words so cold? I really can't figure him out. The Tusl Castle Swordsmanship Arena. The noble ladies from prestigious houses had arrived early. A swordsmanship tournament between the Knights of Light and the Magic Knights. The girl next to her smiled and said, I'm so curious to see who will win. The knights down below were just as lively. The Knights of Light must win, perform, just like we practiced. High above, Lord Leonhardt and Roman were already seated. Lord Leonhardt asked Roman, have the kids arrived yet? With such beautiful weather, the competition should go off without a hitch. Roman suddenly hesitated before answering. Oh, about that, it seems Yana isn't feeling well. She won't be able to make it today. Lord Leonhardt was a bit surprised. Oh, is that so? What a shame. I wanted us to watch the match together. Suddenly, at that very moment, Yana's soft voice called out, Grandpa. Lord Leonhardt was overjoyed to see his dear granddaughter. Yana, did you come with Jiha? I heard you weren't feeling well. Are you all right? Yana jumped down from Jiha's arms and ran quickly towards Lord Leonhardt. Yes, my leg just hurts a little. I'm sorry for being late. Lord Leonhardt, of course, couldn't bring himself to scold his granddaughter. No, it's fine. You arrived safely. That's what's important. You're dressed so nicely today. You look very cute. Yana smiled happily. Yes, thank you, Grandpa. You look wonderful too, Grandpa. Yana pretended to just casually glance over at Roman. Look at that expression on Roman's face. He must be so disappointed that things didn't go as he planned. Grandpa, there's something I need to tell you. Just then, someone's voice suddenly cut in, interrupting the conversation between Yana and Lord Leonhardt. Oh my, you've arrived? From a distance, Nina Ben appeared, looking as glamorous as could be. Jiha looked towards Nina Ben and thought, I've seen that child in Yana's memories. The daughter of Roman and Karen, Nina Ben Tlena. She ran like the wind towards Jiha. It's been so long, sir. Nina Ben was genuinely happy to see him again. Jiha politely returned Nina Ben's greeting, but not very enthusiastically. It's been a while. Have you been well? Nina Ben seemed very pleased. Of course. Thank you. But Nina Ben felt a little disappointed. It's been a long time since I've seen you, hasn't it? Jiha explained to her that he had been busy with some matters in the territory. My apologies. Will you forgive me? Nina Ben smiled brightly and replied, I'll forgive you if you take me to the stables later. Yana stood close to Jiha's side. She thought, I heard she's 2 years older than me. The jewelry she's wearing is so beautiful, just like a true noble lady. She's clearly the only beloved daughter. Oh, we made eye contact. I really don't want to pretend to know her, but I suppose I should say hello. Hello, Nina Ben. It's been a while. What? Why is she staring at me like that? Did I say something wrong? However, Nina Ben stood up a little taller on her toes, then brushed past Yana as if she hadn't seen her at all. Yana turned her head in annoyance. Huh? Did she just ignore me on purpose? Nina Ben walked over to Roman's side. Father, it looks like the match is about to start. I'm going to my seat now. Roman smiled and replied, Very good, your seat is right in the middle. Watching this scene, Yana sighed to herself. I knew she was usually rude, but I never expected her to be this arrogant. But, even so, she's not someone I can underestimate. Even if she looks like a reckless, immature child, she's the one who will eventually hold the real power in the Tuslena family. Some time ago, Yana had learned a little about Nina Ben's family through Olga. You want me to explain about the members of the Tuslena family? Yana replied, Yes, in as much detail as possible. Olga found it strange. My lady, don't you know more about that than I do? Yana came up with a very reasonable excuse that Olga couldn't argue with. But I'm part of this family. From an outsider's point of view, what does the Tuslena family look like to you? I'm curious to know your perspective on this family. Olga replied, Yes, if you wish, I will tell you. First, Tuslena Castle, where you live, is essentially a battlefield. It's all because of the struggle for the position of the next head. It's a power struggle between the second and third heirs of Lord Leonhardt Tlena, the head of the family. The family had 3 sons and 1 daughter. The youngest lady left the castle to study. The 4th son achieved success at a young age and left home very early. As a result, the 2 remaining masters, the 2nd and the 3rd, have been fighting for years to seize the power of the Tuslena family. Because of that, many innocent servants were fired. You already know just how wicked their personalities are. Yana nodded in agreement. Huh? Really? Of course. I know that. Although, I'm not so sure about the 3rd uncle. Thinking about it reminds me that Roman mentioned the 3rd uncle back then. That man tried to use me. She asked where the 3rd uncle was now. Mr. Ga replied, the 3rd uncle has gone to Guangxian for business, I believe. Along with the 4th uncle, Jot, after he was made a marquis. Perhaps because he's obsessed with the estate, he's often away, and every time he returns, he causes trouble. So his absence is nothing to celebrate. Yana asked again, What about the other rumors and stories? Mr. Ga frowned and replied, When it comes to the 3rd uncle, he's actually someone the maids always stay away from. If it's a beautiful woman, regardless of her status or age, he'll be extremely forward and make her life difficult. Back in the present, Yana tapped her fingers, thinking, Besides that, They say the third uncle has children. First is the eldest son, Marius. They say he hits women without a moment's hesitation. And the second daughter, Fry Hilda, has nothing special about her other than the rumor that she's a bookworm. To be safe, I should keep an eye on both of them. Yana glanced over at Nina Ben, and of course, the most important one is the person sitting over there. The only daughter of the next heir, a powerful figure in the Nina Ben Tulina family. From a young age, she built her reputation in society by following her mother's example. Moreover, she possesses incredible physical strength. She's considered the next successor of the Tulina family. At this thought, Yana frowned with determination. And so, today, I will use this opportunity. I will find out more about you, Lady Nina Ben. A trumpet sounded, followed by the announcer's voice. Before the friendly swordsmanship tournament can begin, there will be a parade of the two Squire Knight teams. First up, the Knights of Light. As the order of knights emerged, a murmur spread through the crowd. It looks like those young men will be competing. I look forward to the skills they will display. One of the knights glanced up at the stands, as if he had spotted something. He quickly looked away, swallowed hard, then rushed forward and called out loudly to Lady Nina Ben, getting her attention. The knight knelt before Nina Ben and declared, I am Bathalambi. Today's victory, I will surely seize it as a gift for you. The audience around them was astonished. Oh my God, did we hear that right? Yana was confused. What is he doing? He's competing as a knight, and he says he'll dedicate his victory to Nina Ben? I've never heard of such a thing before. Meanwhile, Nina Ben leaned forward and exclaimed, Oh, Sir Bathalambi. Nina Ben was overjoyed. Please, bring victory home. Hearing her response, Yana was completely speechless. What? She accepted it? Is this normal just because it's a friendly match? No. Even for a friendly match, this is not normal at all. This is a competition where knights bring glory to their order. The joy of that day's victory should be for one's order and family. Even if you make a promise to a woman, it's a custom to honor the women within your own family. If I were an illegitimate child, it might be understandable for him to ignore me. But is he also ignoring Fry Hilda, who is a legitimate daughter? Yana recalled Mr. Ga's words. Lady Nina, Ben's beauty is incredibly famous. It's not just the knights, even commoners long for her attention. Yana sighed. What Mr. Ga said is quite accurate, isn't it? Beside her, Nina Ben was still talking. I am so happy to hear his vow. The announcement rang out again. Next, the parade of the Knights of Darkness. Fry Hilda watched her talking to the servant beside her. Isn't it because Nina Ben is just so lovely? Fry Hilda spoke up. You're still the same as ever, always a victim of princess syndrome. Her words made Nina Ben freeze. Fry Hilda scoffed. Such meaningless actions. Nina Ben quickly regained her composure and asked, Are you talking to me? Fry Hilda shot back. Who else would I be talking to? The adults are all very busy, aren't they? Whenever they get a chance, they try their absolute best to promote you. Watching the farce you put on is more entertaining than the match itself. Nina Ben put on an innocent act and replied, I was simply responding to him with a noble heart. You're exaggerating, she continued smugly. Your jealousy is getting out of hand, isn't it, Fry Hilda? Hearing that, Fry Hilda frowned in anger. Yana, sitting beside them, was at a loss for words. They're arguing so fiercely. Even though they're cousins, their relationship isn't good at all. I should stay quiet for now. As she was thinking, Nina Ben looked over at her and asked, Isn't that right, Yana? The question startled her completely. Nina Ben sighed and said, She's always like this. I just don't know what to do. What would you do if you were me? Yana pursed her lips in confusion, thinking to herself, Why are you? Why is she talking to me like that? Looking at her, Yana had no idea how she was supposed to respond. But before she could answer, Nina Ben feigned remorse, covering her mouth with her hand as she spoke. I'm sorry, Yana. That was a slip of the tongue. After a brief pause, she continued with arrogant contempt. You'll never be able to shine like me. Something like that will just never happen in your life. Please forgive me for not considering your pathetic circumstances. The world seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them and the announcer's voice. We will now officially begin the friendly swordsmanship competition between the knights. With that, she curled her lip into a scornful smirk. Seeing this, Yana thought in annoyance. What did that girl just say? How foolish. Then, she glanced at her, thinking with a bright smile. Does she really think I'd fall for such a simple provocation? Compared to what I've been through, this is nothing. What a stupid girl. She mused that if she picked a fight with Nina Ben, things would get much more complicated. What if she starts getting wary of me? It's better to just pretend I don't know anything and let Nina Ben continue to underestimate me. That way, It'll be easier for me to get close to her. And so, she began to plot in secret. The second master and his wife adore their daughter, Nina Ben. She is also their greatest weakness. So, I'll use her, avoiding as much direct conflict as possible. The sword fight below had begun. Two knights were dueling fiercely. Yana watched intently. She thought, as expected of apprentice knights from a great family, their swordsmanship is flawless. Suddenly, she noticed something interesting and began to speculate. But the defensive skills used by the ghost knights seem a bit special, don't they? Is that a unique trait of their family? Suddenly, a sharp slap landed on Yana, echoing with a loud smack. In disbelief, she clutched her head and turned to look, thinking, what was that? Did something just fall on my head? Marius appeared behind her, threatening her arrogantly. Hey, you girl, move your head. I can't see the match. Yana couldn't believe it and cried out indignantly, you could have just asked. Why did you have to hit me on the head? The air grew tense. Marius raised his fist and said arrogantly, how dare a stupid little brat like you talk back to me? As he spoke, he raised his hand to slap her again. Shut your mouth and move, you little thing. As his arm swung down, Yana easily caught it. She spoke in annoyance, calling me, little this, little that. You're so damn loud. He couldn't believe she would say that, and asked in surprise, what? Then she threatened him coldly. Not only did you not apologize for hitting someone, but you continue to speak so crudely. If you won't speak properly, then I'll have to resort to force, you pathetic piece of trash. Those words crossed the final line for Marius. Rage erupted within him, and he gritted his teeth, roaring. What? Aren't you afraid? With that, he swung his arm and lunged at her. Looks like you need a few more hits to knock some sense into you. Yana pressed her lips together. She thought, if I can help it, I don't want to use my aurora in front of so many people, but it seems I have no other choice. I'll have to teach you a lesson. Yana took a deep breath, preparing to gather her power, but just then, a shout cut through the chaos. Stop! Jack rushed forward and grabbed Marius's raised hand tightly. Yana's eyes widened in shock. She recognized him. Isn't that the stubborn kid I met the other day? Jack asked angrily. What are you doing, Marius? This doesn't look like a fair fight. His arm, caught in Jack's grip, throbbed with pain. Marius winced and let out a cry. Watching this scene, Yana's eyes darkened. She thought, I don't know how he got here, but his timing is perfect. Now I don't have to use my aurora. With this in mind, she gently removed the hairpin from her hair. She calculated, while Marius is distracted by that kid, I'll draw all eyes to Yana's body by creating an even bigger commotion. To the utter astonishment of both Jack and Marius, she quickly lunged forward and bit hard into Marius's leg. He screamed in pain. What are you doing, you crazy brat? When she didn't let go, he roared even louder. It hurts. I said it hurts. The crowd, hearing the noise, turned to look, and murmurs began to spread. Oh my, what's going on? Are they fighting? Marius raised his leg high, intending to kick her off, and yelled, let go of me now. Just then, Yana released him, and the loss of balance sent him tumbling to the ground. At that moment, Roman rushed over angrily, shouting, what's all this noise, you kids? Recognizing the newcomer, Marius quickly pointed at Yana and accused her, second uncle, this crazy girl bit my leg. The surrounding crowd ignored him, murmuring amongst themselves, how could he do that to a little girl? Oh dear, look at her face. Then, before Roman's stunned eyes, Yana burst into choked sobs. She said, second uncle, I told him to stop. But as she spoke, tears welled up, and combined with the wound on her face, tears mixed with blood streamed down. Yana choked out, Marius did this to me. Everyone around them stood and watched. Seeing this, they couldn't help but speak up. Oh my goodness, what happened? What is he doing? That poor girl is bleeding. Yana began to glance around, and seeing the growing crowd, she calculated inwardly, I've caught everyone's attention, but I couldn't see Jiha anywhere. Isn't he here? Just then, Chek suddenly offered her a handkerchief, asking softly, are you okay? Yana's eyes widened in surprise, unsure of what to do. Chek took it upon himself to wipe the blood from her face. A moment later, Yana regained her composure and replied, I'm fine. Karen suddenly covered her mouth and ran to her, calling out, Yana, what happened? She knelt in front of her, gently touching the wound on her face, and asked worriedly, who did this to you? Yana looked at her with a hint of coldness and replied, it was Marius. He suddenly hit me on the head during the match, and he injured my face too. Hearing this, Marius's face turned red with anger as he shouted, hey, when did I ever do that? Are you going to tell the truth or not? Yana continued, sobbing, it's true, he hit me a lot. Marius cut her off loudly, Auntie, Don't listen to a word that brat says. This back and forth was giving Roman a massive headache. He rubbed his temples and sighed. After a moment, unable to bear it any longer, he yelled, "Isn't it enough that you kids have caused all this trouble? Do you want to keep fighting?" Faced with his harsh tone, Yana and Marius quickly lowered their heads, not daring to speak. Roman continued to shout, "How disrespectful. Both of you, follow me immediately." As she was about to leave, she saw Czech slowly walking behind them. Confused, Yana turned her head and asked, "What? Why are you following me?" Czech calmly replied, "Because I want to help you." Yana asked again in disbelief. Just then, a guard stepped forward to stop him, saying, "My apologies, this is a matter for the Tulia family. It should be handled privately, so please wait here, young Master Nega." Hearing the guard, Yana finally realized wasn't that stubborn kid the sole son of the Nega clan. I'd heard their family traditions are a bit different from the Tuslanas. While the Tuslanas' power is divided among many heirs, the Nega's power is passed down to a single successor. At this thought, she looked at Czech, completely baffled. Why would someone like him go to such lengths to help me? She then guessed cautiously, "I don't know why, but there must be a reason." She then said warily, "I'm sorry, but as you can see, my family doesn't treat me very well. You won't get anything out of helping me." Czech was incredibly amused by her words. He chuckled and said, "Get anything out of it?" Placing a hand on his chest, he smiled brightly and continued, "Helping an innocent person is simply the right thing to do." Seeing him like this, Yana was stunned at first, but then she broke into a bright smile and said, "Check, in that case." The scene changes to Roman sitting between the two of them. He spoke sternly, "Marius, answer me." Yana said she was hit on the head while watching the match. "Is that true?" He denied it with a sinister smirk. "No way. Why would I dare do something like that in front of all those spectators? She's just making things up to get me in trouble." Roman frowned in annoyance. "Making things up? So you did touch Yana?" Marius stammered. "Her head was blocking my view of the match, so I just tapped her shoulder a few times." Seeing her silence, he grew bolder, pointing at her face and shouting, "But even when I told her to move, she just ignored me." Iana's expression darkened as she stared at him. Roman, his own face dark with a splitting headache, muttered, "Oh, for heaven's sake. Why do I have to deal with this nonsense over a petty squabble?" Karen suddenly walked over and asked, "Roman, how are things going?" Roman called out happily, "Karen, I'm handling it." Hearing this, Yana thought resentfully, he doesn't even intend to take this seriously. Just then, Roman shot to his feet and said in a stern voice, "In any case, I called you two here because you were quarreling during an official event. But you're still blaming each other at this point? Unbelievable." Then, he made his decision. "I will punish you both fairly. For the next 3 days, don't even think about stepping out of your rooms." Hearing this, Marius cried out in alarm, "What? That's ridiculous. I won't accept it." Roman didn't back down, shouting, "Silence. How dare you question an adult's decision?" Marius quickly retorted, "It's not fair. I'm telling the truth, so why don't you believe me, uncle?" This only made Roman angrier as he yelled, "I will discuss this with your father, you insolent brat." Yana remained silent, lost in thought. It's almost time for him to arrive. Just then, someone entered from outside. Surprisingly, it was Leon H. He approached and greeted, "Roman." Roman fearfully shot to his feet to greet his father. He rushed over and asked worriedly, "Father, what are you doing here?" Leon H. calmly approached and replied, "I was on my way elsewhere when I heard a commotion in the arena." Then he looked down below. He asked, stunned, "What happened here?" "No way." Seeing her face, covered in tears and injuries, he asked with concern, "Iana, what happened to your face?" Iana didn't answer, only calling out in a choked voice, "Grandfather." Then, as if remembering something, she tried to wipe away her tears. Sobbing, she said, "I'm sorry. I don't think I can keep my promise." Leon H. asked, confused, "What do you mean?" Covering her face with her hands, Iana replied, "Second uncle punished us to stay in our rooms for 3 days. I guess I won't be able to help you this time." She clutched his clothes, feeling wronged. "I'm sorry for not keeping my promise." Leon H. grew worried. Calling her name gently, Leonhardt held Iana tightly. He turned back angrily and shouted at Roman, "Tell me what happened. Make me understand." Roman, having been called out, stammered in reply, "It's nothing serious, sir. Marius and Iana just had an argument in the stands. I heard it was over something trivial." Hearing this only made Leonhardt angrier. He roared, "Something trivial? You can still say that after seeing Iana's face?" Roman felt wronged and hurriedly explained, "But the children could have been lying, so I merely gave them a fair punishment." Then he hesitated and continued, "There were no witnesses either, so I had no other choice. Suddenly, a voice cut him off. No, the person who had arrived was Jiha. He brought Czech forward and said, "If you want a witness, here he is." Roman was too stunned to react. He stammered, This is. Jiha calmly explained. This boy saw everything very clearly. That's what he told me. Then he gave the boy a gentle push forward, adding, "Here, it's your turn to speak, Czech." Roman looked at Czech in disbelief and asked, "What did you just say?" Yana, too, was quite surprised and looked at Czech, thinking to herself, I had my doubts, but he brought him here, just as I asked. Seeing her looking at him, Czech offered a small, reassuring smile. Then he stepped forward, politely, bowed, and said, "Greetings, head of the Tuan family and second master. I wish to report what I witnessed at the stadium." Without hesitation, Czech pointed directly at Marius and declared sternly, "During the match, the young master did indeed strike the young lady. I saw it with my own 2 eyes." Though startled for a moment, Marius quickly regained his composure and explained with a laugh. "Come on, isn't this all just a misunderstanding? I only tapped that brat on the shoulder because I couldn't see the match." Czech's face darkened as he said, "If that were true, the young lady wouldn't be injured like this." Even after I intervened, the young master continued to hurl insults and deliberately tried to strike the young lady a second time. As Marius watched in horror, Czech presented the handkerchief he'd used to wipe Iana's blood and calmly recounted, "This is the handkerchief I used to clean her wound." Roman took the handkerchief and stared at it, struggling to speak. "This is..." He then quickly turned his head and yelled at Iana, why didn't you say anything? If you had told us you had a witness from the start, none of this complicated mess would have happened." Jiha stepped in front of Yana protectively and said, "That's enough out of you," he asked in a stern voice. "Is this really the time to argue about that?" Jiha looked at Roman with disappointment and anger, saying, "Right now, can't you see that the child is hurt?" Then his voice dropped to a low warning. "Your only focus is on placing blame, and now you're going to scold her for it?" Frightened by him, Roman unconsciously stepped back and turned to Karen for help, saying, Before he could finish, Karen quickly cut him off. She swiftly made an excuse to leave. "Oh dear, look at the poor child. I'll go get some medicine right away." Then she turned and practically fled. At that moment, Roman looked anxiously at his father's back, completely at a loss for how to explain himself. Unexpectedly, Leonhardt spoke first. "It seems this matter has been resolved." Then, he turned to Czech. "Czech, thank you for standing up for Yana. As the head of the Tuan family, I am ashamed in your presence." Czech smiled brightly and replied humbly, "It's nothing, sir. I only did what was natural. Now, if you'll excuse me." Leonhardt smiled kindly at him and replied, "Very well, you may go back to your room and rest." Just as the boy turned to leave, Yana called out to him softly, "Czech." He turned his head back, confused. Yana smiled brightly and added, "Thank you for helping me." Hearing this, Czech beamed, waved goodbye to her, and left. Now, the 5 members of the Tuan family gathered around the table. Leonhardt's voice turned grave. "It's time to put an end to this. Marius, do you still believe this isn't your fault?" Startled at being called out, Marius flinched and bowed his head even lower. After a moment, he looked up, trembling and stammering. Even so, I didn't scratch her face. She did it on purpose, to frame me," he sputtered, pointing an accusing finger at Yana. Leonhardt could no longer hold back his anger and roared, "You fool! Instead of admitting your guilt, you're making up excuses? I see no remorse in you whatsoever. You will restart your etiquette lessons from the very beginning." With that, he slammed his hand on the table and stood up in a rage. Looking at Marius's tear-streaked, terrified face, Leonhardt swiftly made his decision. "Until you fix that disrespectful attitude of yours, do not even think about setting foot outside the main house." Marius finally realized this situation was not in his favor. He lowered his head and sullenly replied, "Yes, I understand." Then he turned to glare resentfully at Yana. When she saw him looking, she stared right back without flinching. She thought to herself, "Is that little brat glaring at me? He must feel so wronged for being punished. Well, serves you right." At that thought, she cheerfully stuck her tongue out, taunting him. Marius grew even angrier, clenching his fists. Knowing there was nothing he could do, he kicked the table, stood up, and stormed away. Watching his retreating back, Yana thought, "That's your own fault, kiddo. Go find a corner to sulk in and throw whatever tantrum you want. In any case, the problem is solved." Seeing Leonhardt about to leave, Yana quickly hopped off her chair, walked over to him, and called out, "Grandfather." Leonhardt asked gently, "Yana, how is your face? Are you okay?" She calmly replied, "Yes, I'm all right. But can I come to your room again next time?" Seeing her eager face, Leonhardt couldn't help but laugh dotingly and reply, "You silly child, of course." Then, he quickly patted her head and added, "I've already prepared your favorite snacks." Yana cried out in delight. Just then, Jiha walked up and interrupted them, coldly calling out, "Father." He stepped closer and said softly, "You must be very busy. You should get back to your work. I will take care of Yana until she completes her treatment." Leonhardt replied, reassured, "I suppose I must. Then I'll leave her to you." He then quickly left, leaving Yana and Jiha to watch him go. Suddenly, Jiha turned his head to look at her and called out, "Yana." She replied softly, "Yes, uncle?" Jiha asked seriously, "Do you remember the promise you made to me 2 years ago?" Yana was taken aback. She asked, "A promise?" Jiha said sternly, "Yes. When you said you would follow me to Castle Lethe." Yana repeated in confusion, "Castle Lethe? That's right. You said you would come for a visit when you were ready." Jiha looked at her seriously and said, "It seems the time has come." Yana was still uncertain. She thought to herself, did the real Yana actually promise that she'd leave at some point? Seeing her lost in thought, Jiha called her out. "But it seems you don't remember, do you?" Yana thought in a panic. Damn it, was it an important promise? How would I know about something from 2 years ago? I have no idea. Resigning herself to the situation, she put on a bright smile, looked up at him, and said, "Back then, I just thought you were saying that. I didn't think you'd actually take me with you." Hearing this answer, Jiha knew she wasn't ready, so he fell silent for a moment, then turned his back to her and said, "Then I'll give you more time. Think it over carefully before I leave." The scene changes to the next day. In her bedroom, Yana couldn't help but let out a long yawn. As she brushed her hair, she thought, "Castle Lethe, I still don't know what to do. Should I leave Castle Tusl and go with him?" From Yana's perspective, it was a tempting offer. Roman and Karen had poisoned a child without a second thought. They were truly selfish, pathetic people, so I can't be sure something similar won't happen again in the future. But if I leave Castle Tusl, getting my revenge will be much harder. What should I do? While she was lost in her thoughts, a loud voice called from outside, "Lady Yana!" Onga burst in, shouting, "Come outside, quickly!" Seeing her in such a rush, Yana asked in confusion, "What's with the sudden commotion?" As Onga pushed her out the door, Yana couldn't help but wonder, "What's going on? Why are you making such a fuss?" A bright light from outside the room shone directly in her face, stunning her for a moment. She saw servants bustling about, carrying things inside. Yana asked confusedly, "Onga, what is all this?" Onga looked at her and explained, "The head of the family and Lord Jiha sent medicine." Good heavens, who do they think is going to clean all this up? Yana, completely stunned, asked blankly, "What?" She read the letter that came with the gifts. "Yana, how are you feeling? I wanted to come see you myself today to check on your recovery, but I couldn't make it due to an important meeting. I hope you'll understand. In case your injuries get worse, I've sent the best medicines and ointments. Please take care of yourself and get some rest. Signed, Grandfather." After reading the affectionate letter, Yana looked at the pile of medicine bottles and thought suspiciously, "Well, it's nice to be doted on by the family head, but is this really good medicine? It's not poison, is it?" Onga, standing beside her, cheered happily. "My lady, I heard this medicine is excellent for restoring energy. Please drink it quickly and get well soon." Hearing that, as if motivated, she raised a bottle and drank it all in one go. She thought to herself, "All right then. I'll drink it all and become the healthiest version of myself." Suddenly, after finishing the drink, her body froze and her face twisted in pain. Yana gagged twice. Onga, standing beside her, screamed in fear, "My lady, are you all right?" Yana wiped her mouth with a handkerchief, thinking in horror, "This medicine tastes horrible. I wonder where Grandfather got it." A moment later, she felt as if all the strength had been drained from her body. Lying on the windowsill to get some fresh air, she thought, "What is this miserable life? Anyway, just as I thought, I need to refuse the offer to go to Castle Lethe." Thinking of Roman and his wife, her expression grew cold. They probably think of Yana as just a pawn for Ninaben. Even if Jiha takes me with him, they won't let me go that easily. Yana lowered her head sadly and continued to think, "It's better to act like I'm under their control and observe their movements. Right, that's what I'll do." A little later, Yana looked at Onga beside her and said, "It's so noisy outside." Onga quickly explained, "Ah, that's because our night squadron won the tournament yesterday. So today, they were rewarded with a day off." Yana replied softly, "I see." As if remembering something, Yana wondered to herself, "I wonder what Jack is doing." With that thought, she turned and asked, "Onga, do you know where the guest rooms are?" Onga replied, "My lady, You need to go to the east wing of the main building and go through the hallway on the second floor. Yana quickly hopped off her seat. As she walked, she said, "Thank you. Could you help me prepare something?" "Right?" She bowed and replied, "Yes, I understand." Suddenly, Yana asked, "By the way, have you prepared what I asked for yesterday?" Mr. Ga put a hand to his chin, thinking, you mean those cookies that almost made me sick? I've packed them in a box." Yana smiled brightly at her and replied, "Perfect, thank you." After getting ready, Yana, in a lovely purple dress, moved quickly down the hallway. As she walked, she tried to find her way, thinking, "Let's see, I'm sure it's this way." At a turn, she suddenly came face to face with Nina Ben. Seeing Yana, she spoke first. "Oh my." As she spoke, she put on a gentle, friendly smile. "Who could this be? It seems you're here after all." Nina Ben stepped closer with a saintly smile on her face. "I was wondering where you had gone. You disappeared so suddenly yesterday." Hearing this, Yana knew she had no good intentions and thought irritably, What is this girl trying to say?" Nina Ben stared at her and continued, "Our knights fought so very hard, but you didn't just sneak off to rest by yourself, did you?" Yana angrily retorted, "What? Ugh." Before she could finish, Nina Ben laughed scornfully, looking down on her from above. She said with amusement, "But Yana, for some reason, I almost feel jealous of you." Nina Ben moved closer, her tone arrogant as she said, "It must be nice living such a carefree life, don't you think? You don't have to live up to anyone's expectations, and you never have to tire yourself out trying to do anything. But I'm probably saying things you don't understand again. My apologies." Her words sounded as if she admired Yana's way of life, but they were filled with contempt and ridicule. Seeing that she said nothing, Nina Ben casually waved her hand and ordered her servant, "Oh, that's right, Yana, you probably don't have anything to do you?" Holding out yesterday's trophy in front of Yana, she continued with amusement, "Would you like to take this to my room for me?" Nina Ben smiled brightly, covering her mouth as she happily explained, "This is Sir Bartholomew's award, and he gave it to me, but I'm quite busy having to go congratulate the knights." Taking the trophy from the maid's hands, Yana reluctantly accepted the request. "Make sure you polish it well and place it on the display shelf in my room. Understand?" Under Nina Ben's contemptuous gaze, Yana bowed her head low, gritting her teeth and trying to endure it, but Nina was pushing her to her limit. Yana spoke up, "Excuse me, is this how you're going to keep ignoring and trampling all over me?" Seeing her dare to defy her made Nina Ben even more amused. She laughed loudly and asked, "What?" Holding the trophy, Yana smiled brightly and replied, "Oh, don't mind me." She then ran off. As she left, she even cheerfully waved goodbye to Nina Ben and her group. "I'll put this in its proper place." Seeing this, Nina Ben was furious, confused as to why Yana wasn't affected. Yana, however, thought with a smirk, "So? What now?" Once out of Nina Ben's sight, Yana slowed down to think. This incident just confirms it. Nina Ben is nothing more than a sheltered flower in a greenhouse, a spoiled person who treats everyone like side characters in her own story. I'm going to make her realize that her entire world is just an illusion. And just in time, a useful tool has fallen right into my hands. Now then, let's find a suitable place. When she reached the next turn, Yana was completely surprised to see a poetic, dreamlike garden before her. She thought to herself, "I didn't know the main building had a garden like this." Looking at the big, round clusters of grapes above, she thought happily, "The scent of grapes is so pleasant." Moving further in, around an artificial waterfall, she mused, "Even though they grew up seeing such beautiful scenery, why are all the children of the Tulena family so alike?" Suddenly, a voice called out, "Hey, you there." As Yana glanced over, the person continued, "That thing in your hand belongs to Nina Ben, doesn't it?" Yana could now clearly see a girl with magnificent orange hair standing beside her. She was surprised to realize it was Fru Huda. When she didn't answer for a moment, Fru Huda stepped closer and spoke. "If you're planning on throwing it into the fountain, then let me tell you something, since it seems you don't know anything about the main building." When she was right in front of Yana, Fru Huda lowered her voice and continued, "A lot of people pass through here, you know?" Then she smiled with great amusement and warned, "It would be a problem if someone saw you." Not stopping there, Fru Huda even thought of another option for Yana. "So, if you're going to throw it away, toss it in the canal. It's very deep and dark there, so no one will ever find it." Hearing this, Yana immediately froze, thinking to herself, "Huh? Why is she telling me this? Does she hate Nina Ben too?" Seeing that Yana wasn't answering her, Fru Huda shouted angrily, "Hey, are you listening to me?" Yana was startled and looked up at her. Because she was so surprised, her voice was a bit loud as she replied, "Huh? Of course." Then, she pretended to be worried and weak, calling out, "But, Miss Fru Huda. After a moment, she hesitated and continued, could it be that you're worried about me? Fru Huda was confused, frowning as she shot back. Why the hell would I be worried about you? I just thought you were about to do something amusing, so I came to check it out. As she spoke, she pinched Yana's cheek. Then she gave a wicked smile and said, it was hilarious watching that Marius guy puff up his cheeks like a pig. Thanks to you, I got to see something very interesting. Seeing this, Yana sighed with a bit of helplessness, thinking to herself, I thought only the second and third uncle's families had a bad relationship, but it seems the siblings within this family don't either. So harmonious, right? This family is such a mess. There's not an ounce of harmony. Frida finally looked at her and spoke, don't drag me into this. I'm so tired of listening to the old folks bickering. After saying that, she turned away coldly, ignoring Yana's pitiful gaze. Watching her retreating back, Yana wondered, why is everyone in this house so difficult? But even though her tone was cold, there was no real malice in it. She even gave me some advice before she left. I didn't think much of Frida, but it might be good to keep an eye on her. Thanks to her, my plan is becoming even more perfect. The scene shifts to Chech's room, where he was deep in thought, replaying the earlier events in his mind. He remembered Yana standing fearlessly before Marius, her voice ringing out, you struck me, and now you have the nerve to be rude? Can't you even apologize? If you continue to speak like that, I will have to resort to force. And then the memory of her, vulnerable, clutching her hands to her chest as tears streamed down her face, choking out, did Mari do this to you? And then her cheerful smile as she looked at him, saying, by the way, Chech. The more he thought, the deeper his brow furrowed, and just as he expected, she broke his concentration. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Startled, Chech stood up and called out, who is it? When he went to open the door, he was met with Yana's lovely face. She smiled and said, hello, Chech. He asked, confused, Yana, what are you doing here? Yana looked at him and replied with a smile, there's something I want to talk about. May I come in? Chech quickly gestured for her to enter, replying, yeah, of course. Noticing the trophy in her hand, he asked with interest, is that the prize from the fencing tournament? Congratulations to House Tulena on the victory. Yana replied happily, thank you, Chech asked. A little puzzled, but why did you bring that with you? Yana gave a mysterious smile and answered, I'm not telling, it's a secret. Chech said with a hint of disappointment, you can't tell me yet? Yana turned her head to look at him and replied with a smile, that's right, I'll tell you when you agree to my proposal. Chech's interest was piqued. A proposal? Now I'm curious. Inside the room, the two sat facing each other. Yana spoke first. First, there's something I need to confirm before we continue. Chech. Yesterday, you said the reason you helped me was because helping someone in trouble is just the natural thing to do, right? Chech smiled and replied, that's right. You remember perfectly. Yana asked another question. In that case, would you still think that way? With an unreadable expression, Chech asked back, why do you ask? Are you planning to get yourself into trouble again? Yana sighed and answered seriously, yes, I am. And during that time, if you help me, you'll get hurt too. After a moment of silence, Chech replied, I appreciate you worrying about me. In this situation, I think I should put it like this. Yana asked, puzzled. Like what? Chech said, as if joking. It's like a mouse worrying about a cat. Thinking of the sight of Yana, her face stained with tears, limbs trembling, still trying to protect a big guy like him while shouting, Chech, it's dangerous. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. Yana, feeling a bit embarrassed, stood up and said loudly, hey, I'm being serious, you know? Chech suppressed his laughter and replied, sorry, I was just kidding. His voice gradually softened. Anyway, I'll hear you out, so you can say whatever you want. Yana was a bit surprised and asked, really? So you don't see any problem with it? Chech looked at her seriously and replied, of course, I'm not someone who is easily fooled, and most importantly, I want to make a good impression on you. As he said this, he looked directly into her eyes without hesitation. Staring into his smiling eyes, Yana felt extremely flustered, clenching her fists as she thought, what is he saying right now? Chech suddenly covered his mouth and laughed. He playfully teased her, what's with that look on your face? Like I said, I don't have any special feelings for you. Yana looked down, appearing to be embarrassed, but in reality, she was cursing Chech out in her head. Then why do you say such misleading things? Chech became serious again, thinking about something. He frowned and muttered softly, anyway, that's not what I meant. Where should I begin to explain? All right, do you remember what you told me last time about how badly you were treated by the Tulena family? But instead of being ashamed, you stood up proudly and fought for yourself. That side of you is really charming. Yana was taken aback by his last words, feeling completely helpless against him. What? Are you serious? Chech actually nodded eagerly at her disbelieving question. Of course. Even when things were difficult, you didn't give up and worked so hard. Everyone knows that's what you should do, but actually doing it is hard. That's why I think you're an amazing person. Being praised like that, Yana felt a little shy. She looked away, avoiding Chech's intense gaze. Is that so? So that's it. Chech asked her back. That's it? Who knows? Maybe one day you could even become the head of the Tulena family? Yana flared up, realizing Chech was deliberately teasing her. Are you making fun of me? Chech was amused to see the little hedgehog raise its quills. No one knows what the future holds. Anyway, was that a good enough explanation? Yana pouted and didn't answer. She seemed unable to keep up with his way of speaking. This is Yana's story. Yana thought to herself. Honestly, I still don't really get it. But it'll do. Chech blinked at Yana's shy and unnatural expression, then immediately became much more excited. In that case, Yana, what should I do? Yana was momentarily taken aback by his energy. Chech continued to ramble on. Should I eavesdrop on the adults? Or maybe I should steal something? Yana was truly speechless at his suggestions. He's so excited, she thought. But then again, Chech is still just a kid. She pulled something out of her pocket and told Chech, you don't need to do any of that. Just keep these things safe for me. Chech was quite surprised by Yana's request. What is this? Yana's eyes sparkled as she said mysteriously, listen up. I'm going to explain my plan. As dusk fell and the sun began to set, a certain knight was still loitering around the estate walls, scratching his head in worry. Ah, where has Lady Yana gone off to this time? I just looked away for a second and she disappeared. I was told to keep a constant eye on her. He spotted Yana as he'd hoped, but he was so sleepy that he couldn't clearly see what she was doing. Is she over there? Is she planning to jump into the canal or something? The thought instantly jolted him, his eyes flying wide open at Yana's next action and words. Whatever. Yana seemed to have just dropped something into the canal in front of her. The knight, peeking from behind, thought in confusion. Did she drop something? Meanwhile, in her room, Nina Ben seemed to be dealing with a rather difficult problem. She decided to choose one perfume from the many bottles on her table. This one. Apply the rose perfume on me today. Handle me gently, like a beautiful doll. All the maids quickly followed her orders. Yes, my lady. Ninaben didn't have to do anything but sit still while the maids served her, yet she still let out a heavy sigh and said, Phew, what a perfect day. I've always known I'm very beautiful, but when I praise the efforts of the soldiers, I become like a goddess of glory. Don't you all agree? The maid massaging her spoke up. Of course, no one can take their eyes off you, Lady Ninaben, especially the white dress you're wearing. It's a perfect choice. Ninaben immediately shot back. Of course. Who can possibly match my sense of style? But come to think of it, I heard that all the family members and guests will be attending the party tomorrow. Is that right? Those two will be coming as well, won't they? The maid gave a slight nod. Yes, my lady. The fourth young master and the young lady of the family. I heard they will both be attending. Ninaben smiled smugly. Excellent. She slowly got up and walked over to a cabinet filled with trophies. She admired them, musing to herself. Ah, I'm truly proud of myself. These are all my achievements. The statue that Sir Bartholomew gave me is also very beautiful. It should be around here somewhere, shouldn't it? Why isn't the statue here? Did Yana not do as I said? Why? She's usually so obedient. Come to think of it, Yana has been acting very strange lately. Normally, she's so stupid and timid, and she wouldn't even fight back when that brute Marius bullies her. But yesterday, she suddenly got into a huge brawl with that brat. Furthermore, she recalled her own embarrassing moment from before. Lady Ninaben, the Marquis of Lizay, has arrived. She had been overjoyed at the news. Really? But a second later, a harsh reality hit her as Jiha approached with Yana on his shoulders. At that moment, Yana was laughing with genuine joy. Seeing that scene, Nina Ben's jealousy began to boil over, her neatly tied hair and that dress. They're exactly what I used to wear. That's right, Yana is definitely copying me. That's why she stole the statue. I have no choice. As her older sister, I have to teach her a lesson. She turned her head and said to the maid, Ray, call my mother here. I have something important to tell her. The next day, everything proceeded as it always did. Yana, there you are. Before we solve puzzles together, would you like to learn more about Gonrad? I would certainly enjoy it. Yana was genuinely thrilled by her grandfather Leonhardt's offer. Yes, that sounds wonderful. However, a short while later, Yana's expression had turned completely blank. Her head was spinning from the long-winded lecture. This part is the most unique and mysterious part of Gonrad grammar. It explains the complex sentence structure formed by two clauses, and, unlike our language, it uses very peculiar conjunctions. But we'll learn that part later. For now, when combining two sentences, it's essential to have both a subject and a verb, and when creating a complex sentence. Despite her grandfather Leonhardt's passionate lecture, Yana's mind had already drifted off into space. And he calls this fun? If a real 5-year-old were here, they'd be running around and crying their eyes out by now. Mr. Leonhardt noticed her gloomy mood. At this point, you can refer back to the simple sentence structures we just learned earlier. Oh my, look at the time. His words served as a reminder for Yana. Ah, is it really over? Mr. Leonhardt smiled and told his granddaughter, let's stop here for today. Take this homework with you, all right? Reviewing what you've learned is the only way to truly remember it. For Yana, that sentence was a bolt from the blue. She cursed under her breath. Asterisk. Looks like there's no rest for me. Asterisk. But what kind of assignment was this? Write your parents' names. But she didn't even know them. Asterisk skip. Asterisk next. Huh? The assignment Leonhardt gave her was to write her older brother's age. For a moment, Yana had no idea what to do. She was completely floored by this revelation. She stared at the paper, her eyes wide. Wait a minute. Yana has a brother? Yana quickly did some mental calculations. Based on the context, it seemed to be her full-blooded older brother. It definitely wasn't Marius. But Yana was an illegitimate child. So what was their relationship? It seemed her brother lived outside the castle. Asterisk. I need to look into this. Asterisk. Suddenly, both grandfather and granddaughter looked up towards the door at the same time. The tightly shut door was actually being pushed open by someone, and appearing right after was the tutor Karen had recommended, Luen. Pardon the intrusion, head of the family. I'm here to see Lady Yana, Leonhardt asked quietly. You're the tutor Karen recommended, correct? He quickly confirmed, yes, precisely. I am Luen Panel of the Theology Department. I will be the tutor responsible for Yana's education. Yana was not at all willing to become his student. She was sizing Luen up with a critical eye. A tutor, huh? Luen said arrogantly. However, before we begin our lesson, there is one thing I must confirm. He paused in front of Yana, then glared down at her. Luen raised his voice, threatening Yana. Young lady, please answer me truthfully. Have you ever stolen anything from another person? Yana looked back at him with an expression of pure, innocent shock. What? Leonhardt was just as stunned as his granddaughter. He immediately waved his hand dismissively. What are you talking about? Yana stealing something from someone else? Luen pushed up his glasses before sighing and saying, Lord Roman informed me that Lady Yana took Lady Ninabel's trophy, and now we cannot find it. Therefore, I need to hear the details. Please come to the East Forest at once. Leonhardt gently comforted his granddaughter. Yana, I believe you would never do such a thing, but what do you say? Yana shook her head and replied, I would never steal, grandfather. That's the truth. Leonhardt was silent for a moment. Then he placed a hand on her head and said, There must be some kind of misunderstanding. Don't you worry too much. I will go with you. Sure enough, Leonhardt accompanied his granddaughter to the East Forest. Roman was utterly astonished to see him appear. Father, why did you come with Yana? I was only planning to teach the girl a little lesson. I didn't expect you to show up. Leonhardt turned to look at Yana. Yes, I know, but pay me no mind. Roman didn't understand what he meant. Leonhardt looked at Roman and said, I just came to see how the situation unfolds. I don't believe Yana would do such a thing. If the girl is at fault, she must certainly receive a fitting punishment. Is that not right? Roman replied cheerfully. Yes, I understand. Of course, Roman was on the same side as that arrogant Luen. He asked Yana, Lady Yana, I'll ask you one more time. Did you steal Ninabel's trophy? Yana bowed her head and replied, No. Luen immediately pressed further. Are you certain? If you lie, you will suffer a much more severe punishment later on. Yana looked him straight in the eye with a serious expression. I'm telling the truth. I didn't steal anything. Luen was slightly surprised, but he quickly recovered. All right. For now, I understand. In that case, tell me everything that happened yesterday. You must start from the very beginning. Yana turned her head and immediately saw Karen and her daughter. In the distance, Ninabel was looking at her with a worried expression. Yana clenched her fists. Well, yesterday, when I was passing through the hallway, Lady Ninabel said to me, It seems you have nothing to do, don't you? In that case, hurry up and put this in the display cabinet for me. There was a maid standing right beside her. but she kept insisting that I had to be the one to do it. Luan suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, my dear young lady, that was merely a friendly request from your cousin, yet you speak as if you were being bullied. Whatever the problem is, from now on, you will be re-educated on proper etiquette," Yana replied in a firm voice. "I am only telling the truth." Luan beckoned to the knight who had been secretly following her yesterday. "Is that so? If you had admitted your fault sooner, everything might have been better. Now, the situation is beyond saving." Knight Smith stepped forward and introduced himself. "I am Knight Smith." Luan asked him, "Knight Smith, tell us what you saw yesterday." Smith sighed. "Yesterday, I saw Lady Yana holding the trophy. However, Lady Yana did not go directly to Lady Ninabel's room. Later, in the afternoon, the young lady went to the canal and dropped something. Based on the circumstances, I assume that item was the trophy." Yana slammed her hands on the table in fury and shot to her feet, shouting, "This is a misunderstanding. The thing I dropped into the canal was something else. I can prove it." That Luan fellow asked her, "Then where did the trophy go? Was it found in Lady Ninabel's room?" The maid quickly answered, "No. I searched very thoroughly, but it wasn't there." Luan warned Yana in a stern voice. "Did you hear that, young lady? Since the trophy could not be found, you are now the prime suspect, model. And you still refuse to admit you were wrong? Tell the truth, now." Yana looked at him with contempt, in utter disbelief. "Is times what you call discipline and education? He's creating a situation where I can't fight back, deliberately trying to force the answer he wants out of me. Why would you corner a child like this?" But suddenly, at that very moment, Ninabel appeared like a savior. "Teacher, please stop." Everyone present was completely stunned. Leon called out her name, Lady Ninabel. She then said, "I think it's all right. I'm not angry. I just feel so terribly sorry for Yana." She looked straight into Yana's eyes, her provocation completely undisguised. Placing her hands over her chest, Ninabel feigned self-blame and asked, "Yana, are you upset because Ninabel asked you to do this? So upset that you didn't hesitate to throw my trophy into the canal? I'm truly sorry." Yana gritted her teeth, saying nothing. She continued, "Ninabel has never felt such negative emotions, so I truly don't understand. You must be in so much pain, aren't you, Yana? Because you have to accept punishment for your mistake. That's why Ninabel doesn't want to push you any further. If it's all right, may I give you a hug? Ninabel wants to forgive you. Even if you hate me, I will always be the sister who strives to understand you as much as possible." Hearing this, Leon was deeply moved and exclaimed, "Oh my heavens, Lady Ninabel, you have such a kind heart. I'm utterly astonished." Meanwhile, Roman stood there silently, not saying a word. Upon hearing that, Ninabel immediately put on a tender smile for Yana, then gently pulled her into an embrace. But while she was trying her best to play the part of the benevolent and forgiving sister, Yana shoved her away and spoke with a chilling coldness. "Sister Ninabel, you truly don't know a thing." Hearing this, she looked slightly bewildered. What did you just say?" Yana ignored her and made a firm proposal. "Uncle, I will prove my innocence. Please summon Czech and Sister Franhilda here." Roman's voice boomed with disgust. "Innocence? Nonsense. This is clearly your fault. Why must you drag outsiders into such trivial matters? How much further do you intend to tarnish the Tulena name?" She cut him off bluntly. "I am also a member of the Tulena family. So, I apologize, uncle, but please, grant me the right to do this." Seeing her burst into tears out of sheer anguish made Leon grow concerned, and he quickly called out, "Yana, you look so pale. Don't push yourself too hard." She replied through her sobs, "I'm fine. Because you still believe in me, I want to show you that I'm not at fault. To you, I want to become a granddaughter you can be proud of." Moved by her words, he quickly called out, "Yana, all right, I understand. Roman, go and bring Franhilda and Czech here. This is an order from the head of the Tulena family." A moment later, as he approached, Czech asked with a wide smile, "Hello, head of the Tulena family. I heard Yana was looking for me." Seeing the expression on Fran's face, Yana thought with helpless amusement, *ha, Franhilda looks so annoyed, as if she's wondering why she got dragged into this complicated family drama. *, but she'll be grateful to me soon enough. *, because a very interesting scene is about to unfold. *. With that thought, she beamed and said, "Thank you for coming. Check. I came to your room yesterday, and I think I may have left something behind. Did you happen to see it?" Gesturing to a servant, he replied with a smile, "Ah, of course. I actually brought it with me to return to you. Here, take this." The moment he saw the object in the box, Leon was so shocked, his jaw dropped. Wait a minute, Lady Yana, didn't you accidentally drop the trophy into the canal yesterday? She frowned irritably and reminded him, I told you many times that it wasn't me, but you wouldn't even listen to what I had to say until you saw the trophy, intact, with your own eyes. He stammered, flustered. That is, my sister returned this to her. I was planning to return it to you as soon as possible, but I forgot after meeting Czech. Ninabelle forced a smile and replied, Is that so? Well, since it was my mistake, I forgive you. Yana scoffed and continued, But you know, there's one thing you've misunderstood. I have no reason to be jealous of you. Do I? And Czech. Once again, thank you. Thanks to you, I was able to prove this wasn't my fault. He replied graciously, You don't need to thank me. In fact, I should be the one apologizing. Hearing him say that, Yana thought with some confusion. Asterisk. That wasn't in the script. Asterisk. He frowned slightly, chiding himself. Because I didn't return it right away. You were put in such an awkward position, even with what happened a few days ago. And for some reason, I feel like you're always having to apologize for things that aren't your fault. It's almost as if you're constantly being punished, isn't it? Leon was completely stunned to hear Czech say this, while Roman tried to justify it, saying, About that. Just then, another voice suddenly cut in, a reminder to be careful with my words and actions. Czech. Yana's eyes widened in astonishment as she thought, This guy. He just started walking over. This guy just continued to remind me of what he was saying, so nonchalant. The moment she saw the woman, she couldn't help but jump in surprise. The matriarch of the Nega August family. A few days ago, while helping Yana brush her hair, Ona asked in surprise, Oh my, young Master Czech is going to help you? Did your heart flutter? My lady, is it possible you'll be married into that family? She was stunned and helplessly wondered, Oh God, where is this conversation going? Anyway, things aren't like that. Hearing that, she quickly added, I heard that young Master Czech can't stand injustice. They say he's very pure and kind, but quite the opposite of the head of that family. She asked curiously right away, What's the head of the family like? Mr. Ga replied, They say she's very strict and terrifying, even to her own heir. No one can compare to her pride. Just standing in front of her is incredibly tense. Looking at Czech, August sternly admonished him. To be called an apostle of God, one must maintain a dignified attitude. Czech, refrain from making hasty judgments about other families. He bowed his head slightly and apologized in a small voice. I'm sorry, mother. I will be more careful from now on. Looking at the woman, Yana couldn't help but think in admiration. August Nega. Even as a woman, she gained everyone's recognition and rose to the position of family head. Moreover, she's renowned as a master of spear techniques, an extraordinary warrior. She's very impressive, but I should avoid standing out unnecessarily. I don't want to give her a reason to pick on me, do I? Seeing the woman suddenly staring intently at her, a chill ran down her spine as she thought, Good grief, she's scaring me. The aura she's giving off is making me so tense. Why is she staring at people like that? Just as Yana finished her thought, August walked up to Mr. Leon H. and spoke. It's been a while since we've last met, esteemed patriarch of the Tulia family. I came because I heard you summoned my son, and I unintentionally overheard everything. I apologize for interfering in your family's matters. Hearing her words, he immediately took the blame. The one who should be apologizing is me. This is nothing to be proud of, and I have troubled your precious son twice now. Hearing this, she quickly waved her hand and continued, Please don't trouble yourself over it. Czech is not a thoughtless child. The boy must have had his reasons for intervening in this matter. For some reason, hearing his mother say that, Czech suddenly let out a smirk. The man quickly rubbed his head, let out a soft sigh, and said gratefully, Thank you for your understanding. Roman, I can't lift my head in shame. You caused this mess without carefully considering the situation. Did you really reprimand Yana based solely on the words of others? He explained in a panic. No, at first, I was just trying to find the trophy. I ordered the servants to search everywhere, but they couldn't find it. And besides, Ninabelle insisted it was Yana. Hearing this, Karen clenched her teeth and thought with hatred, Roman, you stupid old fool. Then she rushed out and took the blame herself. I'm sorry, father. I didn't think things through when I jumped to those conclusions. We were so clumsy and ill-mannered. This incident must have left an incurable wound on Yana. We will certainly reflect deeply on our actions and will not act so hastily again. Seeing that everything seemed to have been resolved, August turned and suggested, Czech, let's go home. He replied, Yes, mother. Seeing him about to leave just like that, Yana was a bit stunned and thought, Huh? Don't go, come back, check, it's not over yet. Just then, he suddenly turned his head back, then smiled and spoke. Oh, right, Yana, I forgot to give this back to you. You left this box behind. Seeing this, she quickly reached out to take it and said with a forced smile, oh, thank you. Then she couldn't help but think with a bit of annoyance. Was he pretending to forget? Check, suddenly asked curiously. But what's inside? Yana replied, oh, this? It's a snack I wanted to share with you. They're freshly baked cookies. He was delighted and said, they look delicious. I can't wait to eat them with you. Wow, I'm so happy. I love chocolate chip cookies, she asked back joyfully. Really? That's great. Then let's eat them together. Seeing this, Karen, for some reason, suddenly thought in a panic. What? Don't tell me those are the poisoned cookies I gave Yana before the match started. No way. If they eat them and pass out in front of the matriarch. After thinking that, she frantically yelled to stop them. Wait, Yana, you can't eat those. She widened her innocent eyes and asked back. Huh? Why? It's not like they're poisoned or something, right? The woman broke out in a sweat and explained with a nervous laugh. Weren't those cookies made a few days ago? That means they're stale now. And if you get a stomachache, it'll be a big problem. So just give them to me. It's for the best. Taking a cookie from the box, she feigned innocence and asked, but it's only been 3 days. I smelled them, and they seem fine, so I'm sure there's no problem. Let me try. With that, she immediately popped the cookie into her mouth and started chewing. She then suddenly remembered what she had said before. Ever since I ate that woman's cookies, my stomach has been in excruciating pain. Then she thought to herself, right in front of everyone, I've just swallowed a poisoned weapon. However, before she could even finish the thought, she immediately collapsed to the floor. Seeing this, Leonhardt panicked and shouted Yana's name. What the hell is going on? The child's face is getting paler and paler. What are you standing there for? Get a doctor here, now. With her eyes wide open, staring at Roman, she smiled smugly and thought, did you see that? What are you going to do now? Try cleaning up this mess. The next day, in the office of the Tlina family head, Jay asked with concern about the situation. Have the analysis results for the cookies Yana ate yesterday come back yet? With his hand on his forehead, he sighed in frustration and replied, yes, the alchemy department just sent the results. The cookies contain a small amount of an unidentified poison. He scoffed and asked back, an unidentified poison? The only person who could produce something like that is Roman, the greenhouse manager. Hearing this, he immediately retorted, Jay, don't jump to conclusions. Even if he is a talented manager, extracting poison from the toxic plants in the greenhouse isn't easy. If he were discovered, he'd obviously be the first one suspected, isn't that right? Of course, I'm not completely ruling out my suspicions of Roman. However, it's also possible this is an outside conspiracy to harm the Telena family. So, we should just wait? By then, Yana could have died and come back twice over. Hearing this, Leonhardt lowered his head and thought about the problem for a moment. Then he suddenly clenched his fist, slammed it on the table with a bang, and said in a serious tone, you're right. I will now transfer Yana's guardianship to you. You are to become Yana's protector. And if you notice any suspicious behavior from Roman, no matter how small, you must report it to me, without exception. At that very moment, in some indeterminate space, Yana was in the form of Lin, her eyes gently closed as she thought. This time, Yana's memory is also. Just then, Yana suddenly approached and threw her arms around her, startling her into thinking, Yana, how can she connect with me? Yana suddenly began to sob, saying, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be here. I hate the Pindidias Monastery. I hate Telena Castle. I wish everything would just disappear. I don't want to be anywhere anymore. Hearing this, she couldn't help but feel sympathy and called out Yana's name. Yana continued sobbing. If it's going to be like this, I'd rather. At that, she suddenly screamed in terror, Lin! The entire space suddenly began to collapse. Because of this, she lost her footing, fell into the abyss, and let out a terrified scream. Yana then jolted awake from the dream. Rubbing her forehead, she couldn't help but wonder, what was that memory? It was completely different from what she usually shows. It felt so unstable, as if it wasn't something she wanted me to see. Just then, Ona suddenly entered and asked, My lady, you're awake? Yana asked curiously. Ona, how long was I unconscious? She replied, a full day. The doctor advised you to take a few more days to rest, so you shouldn't exert yourself and should get plenty of rest. If you need anything, just call me. She quickly closed her eyes and thought wearily, ugh, this poison is really taking a toll on me. This is the worst I've felt since I possessed Yana's body. After thinking, she curiously asked again, by the way, did anything happen while I was asleep? Ona replied, yes, The family head has ordered the alchemy department to investigate the ingredients of the cookies. Roman is not allowed to participate in the process. The master has also issued a strict order. It seems he suspects Roman. Hearing this, Yana felt a wave of relief and thought, thank goodness, everything is going exactly as I wanted. But the real culprit won't expose herself so easily. Karen Selena, that cunning woman. I'm sure she's already preparing a way to evade all the accusations. While the family head is still suspecting them, I need to find a way to secure the irrefutable evidence. Suddenly, Ona remembered something and quickly reported, there's one more thing. To ensure you receive better care, specialized maids will be assigned to look after you. They will replace the regular maids. If that happens, I won't be able to stay by your side anymore. Hearing this, Yana replied with concern. Tell them that's not necessary. You taking care of me is enough. With tears welling in her eyes, Ona replied happily, my lady, thank you. From now on, I will serve you even more diligently. She didn't reply, lost in thought. With this development, Roman and Karen will only become more ruthless. They'll be forced to resort to even more vicious methods than before. Fine, bring it on. I won't go down that easily either. At the same time, in Jay's room, someone suddenly announced, Sir Jay, Lady Yana is awake. The young lady's condition is not serious. Will you be visiting her, sir? He flatly replied, no. Just send the medicine to Yana's room like last time. Hearing this, the servant bowed and replied, yes, I'll see to it. After the servant left, Jay took off his glasses, then gazed out the window and softly called her name. Yana Tuslena. Then, he suddenly fell into deep thought. The first time I saw her, she was as frail as a withered blade of grass. I was worried she wouldn't even be able to grow up healthy. But one day, the Yana I met again was somehow different. Specifically, during that meeting, she asked me about the scattered castle. Back then, I thought you were just saying things, uncle. I never thought you'd actually want to take me there. That's when I realized that child wasn't Yana, because I never made such a promise. I never did that. Finishing his thought, Jay muttered to himself, who are you? Who is possessing Yana Tuslena's body right now? Meanwhile, in Yana's room, the moment she heard Onga say this was the last dose of medicine, she immediately let out a long, frustrated sigh. Hearing this, Onga turned around and offered a gentle, encouraging smile. Please hang in there. You've had to take so many different kinds of medicine. Yana quickly covered her mouth, her face turning pale as she thought, I've already drunk so much medicine. But there's still more? I'm so sick of it. She then calmly continued, a little surprised at her own words. They even have a type that doesn't make you pass out, but it's very expensive. The label is even gold-plated. A new product, medicine that doesn't make you faint. Yana heard this and thought in disbelief. There's no such medicine in the world. She beamed and exclaimed, it seems the head of the family cares for you a great deal. He always makes sure you have everything you need. Holding the glass jar of sweet candies, she pondered thoughtfully. Just as Onga said, the family head is taking very good care of me. Besides the medicine, he's also sent me many different gifts. Probably because I fainted in front of them twice. She then quickly popped a sweet candy into her mouth, thinking dejectedly as she savored it. These are his gifts. He must feel guilty for ignoring me all this time, but this feels a bit excessive. In any case, Roman had been stripped of his guardianship over Yana. Ja had taken his place. Ja has also sent lots of flowers and medicine. I suppose he wants to take care of Yana in his own way too. If I want to stand against Roman and Karen, I'll need both of them. I just wish they would stay at the castle longer to help me. Just as Yana was thinking this, Onga suddenly announced, my lady, young Master Chech is here to see you. She asked in surprise, Chech? Why is he here at this hour? Onga replied, he said he has something to discuss with you. Hearing this, she fell silent in thought for a moment, then said, all right, let him in. At her word, Onga quickly opened the door for Chech to enter the room. Seeing him, Yana walked over with a smile and greeted him, Chech, hello, what brings you here so suddenly? When he didn't answer, instead frowning and staring intently at her, she couldn't help but think in confusion, huh? Why is he so grumpy? A moment later, Chech was still silent, his irritation towards her perfectly clear, making her think awkwardly, what should I do? Chech seems really angry. Why is he being so quiet? I think I might know why. With that thought, she pushed her hair back and asked with a nervous smile, hey, you must have been really shocked when I passed out, right? I just thought it was a normal stomachache. I never expected to actually faint. Still, I had to eat the cookie. It was the only way to complete my plan. Seeing Chech's expression soften a little, Yana quickly added, but I know it still wasn't the right thing to do. He suddenly raised his voice. What if you hadn't woken up? Why would you do something so reckless? The only reason I brought you the poisoned cookie was because I trusted you wouldn't do something so dangerous. After you collapsed, do you have any idea how shocked I was? At this point, Chech suddenly glanced away, then declared loudly, "If you ever even think about doing something like that again, I will take back my offer to help you. I refuse to push my friend into danger." Hearing this, Yana shot to her feet and called after him, "Ah, Chech, wait." He didn't answer, striding decisively toward the door. Just as he was about to open it to leave, she immediately cried out, blaming herself. "I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I didn't realize you were that worried about me. I admit it was my fault. I did something incredibly dangerous, but to set the trap, I had no other choice. You know that. This is the only way for me to fight back against them." Chech said nothing, bowing his head in thought for a moment before letting out a sudden sigh. Then he spoke. "All right, fine. I understand why you made that decision, but if you had told me sooner, maybe we could have found another way." After speaking, he quickly looked up at the ceiling, waiting for her response. Hearing this, she let out a small laugh and asked, "You're right. But we aren't that close, are we? Huh?" Seeing him suddenly turn to stone, his eyes wide as he stared at me, made her realize she had misspoken. Startled, she thought, "Oops, my bad." Then, Yana quickly explained, "Of course, it's not that I don't trust you, but we don't know each other that well yet, right? Just like you. I don't know much about you either." Hearing Yana say this, a flame of anger instantly ignited within Trash. He stormed up to her and demanded in a loud voice, "You don't know anything about me? If you have questions, then just ask. Ask me anything." Hearing this, she raised an eyebrow and thought in bewilderment. "What?" He confidently boomed, "I'll answer everything." When she heard his promise, she couldn't help but wonder, why is he acting like this? Yana hurriedly waved her hands and questioned him. "Wait. What are you suddenly talking about?" Drake retorted irritably, "Didn't you just say we don't know much about each other? I'll tell you everything, so just ask whatever you want to know." She smiled helplessly, thinking, what is he rambling on about? It seems he won't give up unless I ask him something. But I don't have anything to ask right now. Let's see. "Ah, that." She then asked him directly, "What's that sword on your hip?" He replied in surprise. "Huh? Oh, this?" She quickly ventured a guess. "Do you practice swordsmanship too?" Hearing her question, he was completely stunned and shot back. "Wait, don't tell me. You don't know why I'm at Tuena Castle? Did you think I just came here to have fun?" She quickly clenched her fists and froze, thinking, "So that's not it?" She then hurriedly explained, "I've just never seen that sword before, so I was curious. You said you'd answer all my questions, right?" He didn't answer right away, but stared at her intently and thought, it seems she really doesn't know. He then said, "I'm following Marquis Lethe. A swordsmanship class will be held at Lethe Castle soon. The Marquis himself will be supervising the class. So that's why I came here." Yana suddenly covered her mouth and quickly tried to stop him. "Wait a minute. Oh no. My uncle is the one holding a swordsmanship class?" He immediately confirmed, "Yes. Surely you've heard of his reputation, a heaven-blessed swordmaster. Marquis Jihalathe is a genius who reached the pinnacle of swordsmanship before the age of 30. She silently repeated to herself, "A swordmaster." Then she smiled faintly and added, "No way, you're exaggerating. How can someone become a swordmaster at that age? That's definitely impossible." Lowering his head slightly, he said with a smirk, "Everyone else said the same thing you did. 1 year ago, through his own talent. At the Royal Swordsmanship competition, he showed them his true ability." Hearing this, Yana was completely astonished and thought, impossible. I, who was once considered the greatest swordsman of my generation, only managed to reach the level of a swordmaster in my 30s, and that only happened because of the harsh conditions of war. Otherwise, it would have taken another 10 years, but Jiha has already become a swordmaster. If that's true, he's not a genius, he's a monster. Traich continued with a faint smile. However, even though many people begged to become his disciple, he always refused. But this time, he has officially announced that he will be holding a swordsmanship class. It's specially reserved for the 4 great families. Of course, we still had to take an entrance exam to join the class, but I passed with outstanding results. Hearing Trock say this left Yana utterly amazed, and she quickly praised him. "Wow, that's amazing. You must be very skilled." He grinned smugly and confirmed, "Of course. My mother trains me every day. I received this sword as a gift to commemorate it." Looking at the sword, she let out a small sound. Then she smiled and asked, "Can I hold it for a moment?" He replied, "Sure, go ahead." She quickly took the sword and thought, Traich's sword is for training, but it's quite heavy and intricately carved. She then exclaimed in admiration, "It's beautiful. Who gave it to you? He beamed and replied, Don't be surprised. It was none other than His Majesty, the Emperor. Hearing this, she immediately asked for clarification. His Majesty, the Emperor? You mean Emperor Aurelian? He replied with a gentle smile. Who else could it be? She didn't respond, but thought to herself in awe, I see. So, he finally became the Emperor. In my past life, the moment I saw Aurelian, I immediately called out, Oren. As soon as he heard my voice, Aurelian turned his head and replied with a bright smile, Lin. He was the first friend I ever made. After leaving the orphanage, he was the friend I exchanged swords with, the comrade who fought by my side, and the person I trusted more than anyone else. And this man was my beloved. On a certain afternoon in my past life, seeing the two monsters before me, preparing to bring their hammers down to attack me again, Yana immediately went on high alert, leaping high into the air to dodge the blow, then quickly raising her sword high, she executed a few basic swings to take them down. After successfully sending them on their way, Yana bent over, panting for a moment. Then, she raised her head to stay vigilant, and thought with frustration, Damn it, there are too many of these demonic beasts. How am I supposed to defeat them all alone? Just as she had this thought, a flying monster suddenly appeared, diving straight for her, causing her to scream in panic, I'm dead. Just when she thought she was a goner, someone suddenly appeared and slashed the creature with a single strike, then turned to Lin with concern. I'm here to help you. Seeing him, she joyfully cried out his name, Oren. Once they were standing back to back, he quickly reported the situation. Sabrina, Theo, and Clara's positions are all secure. Hearing this, she let out a bitter laugh and said sarcastically, Ha ha, how humiliating. To think a master swordswoman like me would let things get to this point. Let's finish them off. A while later, seeing that a good number of the monsters had been dealt with, Oren quickly praised her. Lin, you did great. Let's head back now. Suddenly noticing something was wrong with Yana, he rushed over to catch her, calling out in alarm. Seeing her panting heavily from exhaustion, he asked with concern, Are you all right? Can you move? She forced a smile and explained, I think I'm just a little tired. Oren, I'm glad you're safe. Hearing her words made his face flush red with embarrassment. He then replied gently, I should be the one saying that, Lin. That night, Yana was lost in thought. Oren, do you know the truth? Sabrina and Theo. Even Clara betrayed me. Oren, at least. You. Please. I hope you, at least, will stand by my side. Back in the present, seeing her standing with her head down, lost in thought, Chet quickly called out, Yana? Yana? Startled, she asked, Huh? He asked with concern, You look so pale. Are you still feeling the effects of the poison? Should I call a doctor? She managed to smile and replied, No need, I was just spacing out a little. More importantly, Chet, there's something I need to ask you. Surprised, he asked back. What is it? Can I join your swordsmanship classes? Just then, a sudden knock on the door made her wonder curiously, who could that be? A voice called out, Yana, are you in there? She immediately recognized the voice as Fran Hilda's, and quickly placed a hand on his shoulder, saying, Chet, you should go. I'll come to your room later. He mulled it over for a moment, then said, No, I'll hide under the bed. Just pretend I'm not here. Seeing this, she asked in shock, What? Why would you? Fran Hilda urged impatiently, I know you're in there. Open the door, now. Hearing this, Yana flinched with a start. Eek. She then hurried to the door to listen, glaring at Chet and whispering, What if she breaks the door down? He whispered back, Yana, don't worry. I'll be as quiet as a mouse. If anything happens to you, I'll rescue you in a flash. It's a deal. She tried to stop him in a panic. Wait, Chet. Just then, Fran Hilda pushed the door open and barged in, demanding with a frown, What took you so long to answer? Seeing her, Yana quickly switched to her frail Yana Tuslena mode and asked in a soft voice, Sister Fran, what brings you here? Hearing this, Fran Hilda froze and observed her for a moment. Then she crossed her arms and said, I heard you only just woke up a few minutes ago, but you look fine to me. I can't believe you'd lie to me about something like that. Yana gave an awkward laugh. Ah, you're right. I guess resting in bed helped me recover faster. Then, she immediately scolded him in her thoughts. Chet, I told you to be quiet. Tossing something to Yana, she explained in a low voice, Forget it, just take this. And let me be clear, don't misunderstand my intentions. I only brought it because I couldn't show up empty-handed. She quickly caught the gift box and asked in surprise, A box of chocolates? Thank you, Fran Hilda replied coldly. More importantly, you should be honest with me. Why did you call me to that location? Yana asked, feigning ignorance. When? Franhilde replied. The day you ate the cookie and collapsed. Yana answered, flustered. Oh, that. I called you there so you could watch. Franhilde asked, stunned. What? A faint smile suddenly played on Yana's lips as she explained cheerfully. I wanted you to see the people you despise suffer. Oh, and don't think it's because I'm being nice. It was just a reward for showing me the perfect place to drop the statue. After hearing this, Franhilde stared at her for a moment, then said with suspicion, something's not right here. You've become a completely different person. Placing a hand on her chin, Franhilde speculated seriously. Could it be because you had a near-death experience after eating that poisonous plant? It's like, in a single moment, you changed completely. Hearing this, Yana breathed a sigh of relief and thought to herself, oh, so that's how she sees it. Continuing, she mused with a smirk. It feels as if another soul has possessed you. One that's impatient, hot-tempered, and can't stand to sit back and endure. What are you talking about? Nonsense. What about my personality? She snapped back. The woman asked, bewildered, why are you suddenly so agitated? Clenching her fist, she frowned and proposed, then let me ask you the opposite question. In your memory, what kind of person was I? Franhilde let out a soft sigh and answered, what do you mean? Completely different from how you are now. You were very timid and quiet. You never once said you disliked something. You just did whatever your aunt told you to. And even if something unfair happened, all you would say was, I'm sorry, and you always let that brat Nineben have the best of everything. As she said this, she let out an unconscious sigh. Seeing this, Yana immediately asked, so, to you, were those good times? No, right? At this, she suddenly scoffed, then continued, so I've made a decision. I will not live like that anymore, and I will free myself from this pitiful situation. Hearing Yana's words, Franhilde quickly clenched her fists and whispered in awe, so you really. Just then, Ona suddenly opened the door and called out loudly, Lady Yana. She asked in confusion, Ona, what is it? Ona replied, the second madam is on her way here. Hearing this, Franhilde couldn't help but exclaim in shock, why her? She's the last person I want to see. Well, I'm done here. I'm leaving. Seeing her about to leave, Yana quickly grabbed her hand and said, wait, Franhilde, don't go. Hide under the bed. She shouted in shock. What? Why all of a sudden? While pushing her under the bed, Yana hurriedly explained, don't ask why. It's a little cramped, but you won't be caught here. The woman protested in a panic. Wait, Yana, are you crazy? Why are you suddenly acting? Suddenly hearing a shush from someone, Franhilde immediately turned her head to Czech, and saw Czech holding a finger to his lips, signaling for her to be quiet, which surprised her. She whispered, Czech, when did you get here? He whispered back, I'll explain later. For now, please cooperate with us for a bit. Ona asked Yana with concern, are you all right, my lady? Yana replied, I'm fine, just be quiet. With that, she took a deep breath to calm herself. As soon as she entered the room, Karen rushed over and asked with concern, Yana, you're awake. Are you feeling any better? She replied in a low voice, yes, Aunt. Thank you for your concern. Hearing this, the woman smiled softly and continued, I tend to worry a lot, but taking care of you is my role, isn't it? Your skin is so pale. I hope I'm not disturbing your rest. I have a gift for you. This is an excellent medicine for your recovery. Remember to drink it. Yana reluctantly took the vial of medicine and replied with a forced smile, yes. By the way, why did you come here? The woman answered, I came to tell you something. I'll be direct and then leave. At this, she quickly pulled out a chair and sat down, then smiled gently and continued, Yana, why did you play such a dangerous prank that day? She frowned slightly and asked in a serious tone, a prank? The woman replied, with a cheerful, eye-crinkling smile, the poisoned cookies. You made the cookies yourself, didn't you? The escort knight told me. He said you left the castle without permission. Yana replied, flustered, that's, Karen calmly continued, and you were snooping around the poison disposal area, weren't you? If the head of the family finds out, you could be in serious trouble. I'll let it slide this time. Yana, up until now, I've allowed you to do whatever you wanted. As she said this, she dug her fingers into the girl's shoulder, then glared at her and warned in a low, threatening voice, but if this continues, I won't be able to guarantee your safety. You could be in real danger. With that, she quickly released her grip, causing the girl to wince in pain and furrow her brow. Then she quickly looked up and said with cold gratitude, Aunt, I am very grateful for your concern, but I wasn't playing any prank. How could someone as weak as me travel to a faraway place and buy such a dangerous poison? Hearing this, the woman's eyes widened in anger, and she bared her teeth in a smile. Then she suddenly scoffed, quickly turned around, and said, "In that case, Yana, let me ask you this. If what you're saying is true, you'll answer my question easily." With that, she quickly opened the box on the table and explained coldly, "This is something very hard to find." Noticing Yana's guilty expression upon seeing the item in the box, she asked bluntly, "So why was it in your room? Explain it to me." When I asked the doctor, he said, "This is an extremely rare antidote, the kind that's only sold in back alleys." "So how did you get this?" Yana stammered, "This is." Then she suddenly fell silent, saying nothing more. Seeing this, Karen said with a triumphant smile, "Well, let me guess. When you entered the greenhouse, you ate the heavenly lychee fruit and passed out. You've made us adults worry so much, just the way you wanted. And since then, you've developed a habit. You must think that every time you're upset with someone or want something, you just have to poison yourself and pass out. What a horrible thought. So you must have prepared the antidote in advance, didn't you?" Hearing this, Yana couldn't help but be stunned. What is she spouting nonsense for? Now that I think about it, when she scolded me, she accused me of staging the whole thing to get everyone's attention. There's no way a servant could have come up with a story like that. Someone must have deliberately spread rumors about Yana's behavior. Could it be that Karen was behind all of this? Just as Yana had this thought, the atmosphere between them suddenly fell silent. Seeing this, Karen quickly asked, "Yana, aren't you going to answer?" She didn't answer right away, considering it seriously. If I answer carelessly, she'll definitely find a flaw in my story. Seeing her hesitation, the woman immediately delivered her ultimatum. "If you insist on refusing to answer, then I'll have no other choice. I will have to contact your brother at the academy." Hearing this, she thought in confusion. Yana's brother at the academy? What does that have to do with anything? Handing her a letter, the woman asked in a loud voice, "It's been a while since his last letter, hasn't it? Wynnum still sends letters every day, even during his exams, saying that he's studying well without any trouble. And that boy always asks about you. Is she okay? Is she eating properly? Has anything happened to her? Until now, there's been nothing to worry about, because I've been carefully writing the replies, assuring him that you're fine and healthy. You know your brother. If he received a letter saying something happened to you, he would drop everything, even his studies, and come home. All his efforts would go down the drain, and he wouldn't be able to graduate. Yana, if your brother had to suffer like that because of you, would you be able to live with yourself?" Looking at the letter, Yana fell into deep thought. This letter was sent by Wynnum Tlana from the Royal Academy. "To my beloved sister, Yana," the words were written so formally. So this was the reason she stayed in this castle, and endured the torment from Karen and Roman. The reason she never asked the family head or Jiha for help. I vaguely thought it was because Karen and Roman had some kind of influence, but it turns out they were exploiting Yana's weakness. It was because of her brother at the academy. She must have thought that simply enduring it was the best way to protect her family. She had been threatened all this time. Karen saw Yana staring at the letter, not saying a single word. This made Karen extremely pleased. "That's right, Yana. You can't defeat me that easily." A triumphant smirk crept onto her lips. Then, she gently touched Yana's hair and proposed, "Go to the family head's room, tell him this was your fault, and beg for his forgiveness." "All right, I'll see you soon." With that, she immediately turned to leave. Hearing this, Trick quickly lifted the bedsheet. A mischievous grin spread across his face. Then, he quickly grabbed the hem of Karen's skirt, causing her to lose her balance. Yana was completely surprised by this. The moment his goal of making the woman tumble to the floor was achieved, Trich let out a derisive laugh before quickly hiding back under the bed. Seeing this, Yana broke into a cold sweat and feigned concern, asking, "Aunt, are you all right?" Karen frowned and gritted her teeth, complaining, "What the hell? I felt something pull me from down here." Hearing her say that, Yana quickly grabbed the tray of medicine vials, thinking, "I can't let her look under the bed." With that thought, she immediately aimed straight for the woman and threw the tray and vials with all her might. Caught completely off guard by this move, the woman could only sit there and take the full impact, letting out a pained scream. By the time she came to her senses, the medicine vials were lying on the floor, and her entire body was completely drenched. Seeing this, Yana immediately threw her hands up and feigned panic, explaining, "Aunt, I'm so sorry." Seeing the woman just gaping at her, Yana was inwardly delighted and continued with a cheerful smile, "I just made a mistake." "A mistake? Really?" Karen stared at her tone and expression, completely dumbfounded, her eyes becoming more vacant than ever. It took a moment before she quietly asked again, "A mistake?" She was furious, but could only suppress her anger. She let out a sigh. A moment later, Karen stood up in her soiled dress and said slowly, word by word, "I wonder how long you can keep up this calm facade." Before leaving the room, she shot Yana a sharp glare. "I'll be watching you." But there was no way Yana would let her leave that easily. She sat up on the edge of the bed. Her voice, now firm and hard, called Karen back. "Aunt?" The woman paid her no mind, trying to maintain her aristocratic composure as she left. Seeing this, Yana could only sneer. Humph, still pretending to be graceful until the very end. She suddenly remembered the past few minutes and chuckled to herself. A moment ago, when that woman was about to look under the bed, my heart leaped into my throat, and I instinctively threw the medicine bottle. Who knew it would be a perfect bullseye? Ha, serves her right. As if remembering something, Yana stopped laughing. Then she spoke softly. "You two can come out now." At that, Frenhilda and Chech wearily crawled out. The moment she was out, Frenhilda couldn't hold back her anger any longer. She glared at Chech with pure hatred and yelled, "Chech, have you lost your mind? What if we had been caught because of that?" He just propped his chin on his hand and smiled. "Yeah, but I bet the second lady is even more flustered than we are." Everyone saw that hideous look on her face. Hearing that, Frenhilda froze, unable to retort. She turned to look at Yana, her heart filled with questions. More importantly, "You're not going to do what Karen told you to, right?" Faced with that question, Yana thought for a long moment, making her even more anxious. In the end, Yana could only say helplessly, "If I don't do as Karen says, something bad will happen to Wynnum." This displeased Frenhilda, and she became furious. "Why are you worried about that good-for-nothing? He's never once shown his face in the castle since enrolling at the academy." She glanced at the letter beside them, her irritation growing. "If he really cared about you, he would have come to the castle to visit you long ago, instead of just sending these letters." Looking at the letter, Yana could only remain silent. She picked it up, pondering Frenhilda's words. "He has never come to the castle, not even once." Then, she meticulously reread every line Wynnum had written to her. "Hello, Yana, how have you been?" In the letter, he told her all sorts of things and shared his thoughts with her. "The weather has gotten much warmer. It would be wonderful to take a walk with you. The academy garden is so full of life right now, with its fresh green colors." He even remembered Karen. "How is Aunt Karen? Please tell her that I'm very grateful to her. She always takes such good care of us." He meticulously wrote every line to Yana. As for her, she read these lines over and over, her expression darkening, completely at a loss. She always wondered to herself, "Is it possible that my brother knows nothing at all?" Just then, a voice cut through her train of thought. "By the way, my being here is a secret," Frenhilda asserted. "Of course, I'll pretend I didn't see or hear anything here. If you two are thinking of asking for my cooperation, forget it." She clenched her jaw and turned to leave. Yana and Chech could only quietly watch her figure recede into the distance. Afterwards, Chech gave Yana a small smile. "So Yana, what do you plan to do now?" She replied with a hum. Then she fell deep into thought. Suddenly, she asked with curiosity, "By the way, Chech, is it true that once you enter the academy, you can't leave until you graduate?" He completely refuted it. "That's not true. I have friends who study there. If you apply for leave on days when you don't have classes, you can go home for the day." Hearing this, Yana replied softly, I see." She continued to stare at the letters he'd sent her, her mind flooded with questions. He seems kind, sending Yana letters so often, but why does he never come to the castle? Is it just because he dislikes the people who live here? Or is it that he doesn't want to come back? Or is he truly a free spirit who prefers to wander outside the castle? Countless questions swirled in her head as she thought to herself, "It seems he doesn't know anything about what's happening at home. That's suspicious." At this, Yana clenched the letter, secretly forming a plan. She had to investigate Wynnum further. What kind of person could he be? The scene shifts to outside the mansion. In another room, this one also bathed in the glow of fresh sunlight. On the table were some pastries and a cup of tea. It turned out to be Frenhilda's room. She was sitting by the window, engrossed in a book. Each page turned revealed new knowledge. At that time, a thick darkness enveloped the desert, and not a single ray of light could penetrate it. The ancients believed this phenomenon was a curse and began to pray to the gods. As she turned to the next page, she mused. This custom gradually evolved into a religious ritual that was passed down through time. Suddenly, a voice broke her concentration. "Hey!" It was Marius's voice. He was incredibly resentful and wanted Frenhilda to intervene for him. "Your only brother is being punished, and you're just sitting there comfortably reading a book? Go cry and beg for mercy or something." His whining voice was infuriating her, so noisy again. He stretched and leaned back in his chair, sighing. That senile old man never listens to me, and that Yana brat is always acting so high and mighty. Hearing that, she could only smirk to herself. Stupid Marius. He got his butt handed to him by that little girl, and he's still running his mouth. Seeing she didn't respond, he began yelling at her again for no reason. Hey, you're supposed to act like a daughter and go grovel before the family head. This was driving her insane. Can't this guy just shut up? Then, Frenhilda reflected on her own life. Honestly, my life right now is no different from a curse, having to share parents with this brat. So rude. As if his lack of culture wasn't enough, I have to drink tea with him every day on father's orders. Suddenly, the image of her father appeared in her mind. He reached out, his hand landing on her shoulder. Listen carefully, Frenhilda. He pressed the full weight of responsibility onto her. You must become a gentle and humble woman, and you must take good care of your younger brother. That boy lost his mother when he was young and is incapable of controlling himself. If your brother can't control his temper, you must comfort him as if you were caring for a child. And when he faces failure and hardship, you must always be by his side to encourage him. That is your responsibility. This made her feel an indescribable sense of pity for herself. He even decreed that only when Marius became a kind person could you be married into a prestigious family. She couldn't possibly defy her father. She could only grit her teeth and bear it. Seeing her as silent as a clam, Marius's eyebrows practically furrowed into one. Tired of waiting for an answer, he shot up in frustration. Hey, aren't you going to answer me? But in response, she simply chose silence and continued reading. Receiving only her silence, he felt utterly humiliated. He clenched his jaw. Then, in a fit of anger, he snatched the book she was reading. You think you can just ignore me? Marius clutched the book, his voice laced with certainty. You think I go easy on you just because we're family, don't you? When father gets back, you're going to be in huge trouble. I'm going to tell him everything about how arrogant you and Yana have been. You understand? Despite the threat, Frenhilda still chose silence. Then, she finally mustered all her courage and spat. I'm so sick of these games. He was completely stunned. What? She stood up, slamming her hand down on the table. It's always, father, father. Can't you do a single thing for yourself? She poured all her pent-up fury into every single word. Well, I guess that's why you're grounded, unable to even step out of your room. Because this time, you can't rely on father's help. Instead of hitting Yana, you should have just slapped yourself in the head from the start. Her words left him completely frozen. This was a Frenhilda he had never seen before. But she didn't stop there. That's still better than acting like a complete fool. Finally, she delivered one last, forceful blow. You psycho. Thank you all for watching today's video. Our story continues with many more exciting developments ahead. So, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to support us and not miss out on the latest episodes. We hope you have a relaxing and enjoyable time. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.